If you've ever been really grateful for a Monday off, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Wednesday, January 14th edition. And yes, the following Monday here, January 19th, is Martin Luther King Day, and the market is closed, and we are closed. We actually have a truncated week next week. And as a Bears fan, with the Bears playing on Sunday night, that is probably a good thing for me, so I am grateful. However, we are back here for another episode, The Turn. We are at the middle of the week. We've got more earnings. We've got, of course, the TSM earnings coming. We're still waiting on the SCOTUS decision, which we may not get today. We may actually end up getting that tomorrow. A lot of stuff going on, and we are going to cover it, and we are going to trade this market. We do have Tim Melvin here today. And of course, we're going to have the story trading folks here today as well. So a packed day of content for you. Can't wait to get it started. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for January 14th, 2026 begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. I hope that the rest of your Tuesday night went well. We are back for another day here today, locked and loaded, like Ed is saying. Locked and loaded, absolutely. I'll break down the news for you here and get you started for your Wednesday here. Richard Judge is first here today. Good morning, Judge. Great to see you. Positive energy into the universe early. That is a good sign, brother. Nice to have you back. Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. Ryan, good morning. Welcome back. What are we thinking? Big, green, beautiful day? I don't know. Future's under a little bit of pressure here. We'll see if we are able to buy the dip yet again and go green. Zach McCracken, welcome back. It's good to see you as always, boss. The producer's locked in and ready to go. Thanks for all of your help, of course. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. H&H Tactical, nice to see you again. Welcome back. Cad Monkey and Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Jim, good morning. BMNR and ETH in the mix before BMNR vote tomorrow. Okay. I'm not actually trading that right now, but Bitcoin has actually made a pretty good return, so maybe that'll bode well for BMNR. Whis, good morning. It's great to see you again. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. Archangel, good morning. Lost Penny, good morning. Matthew, good morning. GB Slice, good morning. Durkis, good morning. Yes, that girl, good morning. Bob, good morning to Ryan 13 and all of the green monsters. We'll take that, Bob. Good morning. It's good to see you again. Cam, welcome back. Good morning. Dive Deep, good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Brandy, good morning. Smita, good morning. Marty, good morning. Sean, good morning. Sean says, one sentence on how Benzinga Pro is better than the Yahoo Finance tab. Benzinga Pro has way more functionality than the Yahoo Finance tab. You're going to be able to get all of the same information, and then you'll also be able to use some of that information that you get, or some of the filters that you get, as filters in other tools. So way more customizability, way more filtering capabilities, and I don't have the two of them next to each other, but I would guess way more data as well. Just passing through, good morning, good to see you again. Tyler, good morning. Can we take a look at Microsoft? Yes, absolutely we can. We do have some news about about Microsoft here today, so perhaps we should take a look at that. And by the way, the software stocks have been getting absolutely crushed recently. So I think I know why you want to take a look at that. Yes, we'll absolutely add Microsoft to the list. Lambo Rolls, good morning. Good to see you again. Edward, good morning. Good to see you. Peter, good morning. Good to see you. Peter, it's snowing here in Chicago. How about that? Actually, wow, looks like it's blizzarding out there. We can barely see the street. Whew. It's going to be fun. Glad I'm inside. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Dara, good morning. Corey, good morning. Marionetta, good morning. Just Some Guy, good morning. Austin, it's good to see you again. Good morning. Kenneth, good morning. Azrar, good morning. HK Matt, good morning. Victor, good morning. Big Grip, good morning. Fergus, it's good to see you as always. Yasso Fine is back. Let's go. Great to see you. James Bond, that's just immediately one of my favorite YouTube handles here. We've got James Bond here. Let's go. Good morning. Best Life, good morning. Cynthia, good morning. JJ, good morning. Jay Harris, good morning. Bernhard, good morning. And T. Mengst, Good morning. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under pressure again ahead of Wednesday's open here. S&P futures down 0.41%, the Dow futures down 0.3%, and the NASDAQ leading the way lower at minus 0.55%. Let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session. Energy and consumer staples gained on Tuesday, while financials and consumer discretionary saw the biggest declines. U.S. stock futures continued to decline on Wednesday following Tuesday's lower close. Futures of major benchmark indices have declined, and we are actually close to the lows here. Some of these mornings we've been up off the lows. This one, we're still relatively close. The consumer price index rose 2.7% year over year in December, matching both the prior reading and the economist estimates. Notably, core CPI came in at 2.6 year over year, slightly below expectations. After last week passed without a decision, investors are now focused on Wednesday's scheduled Supreme Court opinion release for a potential ruling on the challenge to President Trump's tariff authority. Now, as far as I'm aware, we don't have anything official. Yesterday, we did hear some things that might be delayed, might actually come at the end of the day here too after the session closed. So I can't tell you exactly what time, but we are expecting that here quite soon. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.17%, and the 2-year bond yielded 3.52%. The CME's group Fed Watch Tool projections show markets pricing at a 97.2% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged in January. That percentage continues to tick up towards 100%. Now, we do have several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one's going to be Wells Fargo. That's ticker WFC. That was 0.81% lower in the pre-market on Wednesday as analysts expect it to report quarterly earnings before the opening bell. Wall Street expects earnings of $1.67 per share on revenue of $21.65 billion. Looks like what Wells Fargo did there was $1.62 on EPS versus the 165 estimate, or 166 estimate there. So it looks like they came in a little bit lower. Wells Fargo also down. It closed at 93.5 yesterday. It's currently at 91.5 here in the pre-market. So down slightly on the back of that earnings report. The next stock on our list is going to be BP, ticker BP. It dropped 1.84% after announcing that its energy transition businesses, were facing or up to a $5 billion write-down. The next stock on our list is going to be WeRide. This is ticker WRD, and it rose 1.59% after it launched the robo-taxi mini program WeRide Go on Tencent WeChat, enabling users to operate areas to book robo-taxis without a separate app. The next stock on our list is TG Therapeutics, and the ticker here is TGTX. It jumped 6.99% after it released preliminary fourth quarter revenue estimates and provided an optimistic outlook for 2026. The last stock on our list here today is going to be Geltech. That's ticker GELS. Shares surged 56.04% after reporting positive preclinical results for its cannabinoid oral gel delivery platform. Producer making me sweat a little bit today. Just kidding. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart here. The good news, we are a little bit lower. We did trade down yesterday. We're a little bit lower here in the pre-market, but there's still some good news and a potential support area or bounce spot. And that's definitely going to be the trend line that we have, the support trend line that originates back in November 21st, as well as the 20-day moving average, which is just slightly below it. If I estimate the trend line here for today, I've got that at about 687.5. Let's maybe go inside, zoom out here, and see if we can get a little bit more of an accurate reading. Yeah, 689.75. So this 689 to 690 area should be a potential support area for us today. We'll see if we end up cracking that or if we're able to hold that and maybe bounce from here. If I keep this 5-minute chart up and I look back here, you can see that this 690 area is actually pretty important over the last several days. I know we peaked below it here, but we basically traded right around it. We recaptured it, we retested it and held it. And now it looks like we're rolling back over to test that exact same area again. Today, it happens to correspond with the trend line. So we'll see if this is the final straw, if we break that and continue to move lower, or if we actually this is just another opportunity to buy the dip. If we do break the trend line, as mentioned, the next support level down is going to be that 20-day moving average, which has been a really good indicator of what direction the trend has been. The value for that, 686.59. So we'll see if we hold on to that. And then furthermore, if I back out to September here, you can actually see that this sideways area is supported at the lower end of the range. Volume point of control is down here at 663.65. So while I don't think we're in any danger of testing that here soon, it sure seems like a lot of congestion up here over the last several months. So we'll see if we end up breaking down and maybe moving meaningfully beneath that. I think we would need a large catalyst here in order to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts here. Professor Jeremy Siegel anticipates a robust 2026, driven by a powerful productivity surge that he believes will allow the economy to grow without reigniting inflation. Highlighting a surprising fourth quarter GDP growth result of 5.4%, Siegel describes the current environment not as late cycle stagnation, but as recalibration towards more efficient growth. Regarding the stock market, Siegel remains constructive on equities, but increasingly selective. He predicts a shift in leadership away from mega cap technology stocks, which he warns may only see modest gains due to high valuations. This is great because this is a theme that we have been on for what feels like some time now. And in fact, if you take a look at a chart like NVIDIA, it really hasn't done anything since July last year. So I'm not at all surprised to hear other people folding into our view here. It does seem like the rotation out of mega cap tech is happening, and I think that should be good for us. We don't have to trade just the concentration of the 7 popular stocks. There's many other things for us to take a look at. Instead, he expects double-digit returns from small cap stocks and non-tech cyclicals, which stand to benefit most from expected Federal Reserve rate cuts. Now, the caveat there is that yesterday we heard from JP Morgan, they're not forecasting any rate cuts for 2026, and in fact said we might need to hike in 2027. So we'll see how these things trade, how the market responds to all of this information, and then, of course, throughout the course of the year, what kind of cuts do we get, and then when. I'm still in the camp that I don't think we see a cut before the second half of the year. Siegel advises investors to broaden their portfolios beyond crowded U.S. tech names, noting compelling valuations in Europe and Japan. Well, Tim Melvin, he's not joining us yet, but he's somewhere fist pumping on the back of that one. Woo. Ultimately, he argues that 2026 will be a year where earnings growth, not multiple expansion, does most of the work for investor returns. So we'll see if we end up getting that. Reminder here on the economic data. November's delayed report of the U.S. retail sales and producer price index will be released here in 17 minutes. October's delayed U.S. business inventories and December's existing home sales will be out by 10. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic speaks at noon. Governor Stephen Miron speaks at 12:30. Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari, speaks at 11. And New York Fed President John Williams speaks at 2:10. The Beige Book will be released at 2. All right. Now, we were talking about the Supreme Court. We talked a little bit about this yesterday with the group, but let's break it down and see where we're at here. Cryptocurrency prediction markets now see low odds that the Supreme Court will rule in favor of President Trump's tariffs, with the decision anticipated on Wednesday, today. Polymarket odds that the Supreme Court overturns or vacates the earlier court decision that deemed Trump's tariff policy unconstitutional were 28%. That was up from 22% a week ago, but still much lower than the all-time highs set in September of 2025. Over 2.6 million has been tossed on the outcome, making it one of the most traded bets on Polygon-based platforms as of this writing. Let me ask you, did any of you place a bet on Polymarket, Kalshi, Polygon, or otherwise? Is anyone betting this? I'd be curious to know. I still have never, oh my God, it is blizzarding outside here in Chicago. That is awesome. I have never placed one of these bets. The more of my friends that I talk to, the more it seems like they're getting They're getting involved with this and they're having fun. And I'll be honest, there's a bit of a FOMO going on there. I'll let you know if I ever take the dive in there, but let me know if any of you folks are betting this. Meanwhile, bettors on Kalshi see a 32% chance that the apex court rules in favor of Trump. The Supreme Court has scheduled an opinion day for Friday, and Kalshi bettors are giving a 53% odds that it will release an opinion before January 16th. So again, we are anticipating this today. They had said that in the past that they were going to do this here today, but it might be a day or two later. The opinion day here is on Friday. Most people think that we're going to get a decision before that. Trade tariffs have been among the most closely watched market developments over the past year, and a pending decision could impact where the market heads early in 2026. Trump said earlier this week that the U.S. could face massive economic consequences if the Supreme Court rules against the federal government on the issue. Easy for me to say. Interestingly, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said last week that the Treasury has enough funds to cover any potential tariff refunds if the Supreme Court rules against the government. This is something that we talked about yesterday, and while I don't think they're going to have to do that, I could very easily be wrong, Bessent says they're covered. Since assuming office in January of 2025, Trump has used the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or the IEEPA, as we've abbreviated that in stories and in the chat here, to justify imposing tariffs on countries to address trade imbalances. However, a U.S. appeals court said last year that Trump overstepped his authority by using emergency powers to impose such sweeping tariffs. Economist Mark Zandi said that the labor market is faltering under the weight of the tariffs, and that a Supreme Court ruling could offer the quickest path to restoring job growth. So we'll see what we get. We'll see when we get that. Again, the initial estimate was for today, but it's possible we don't get it till later in the day, or possibly even tomorrow. Now, Tyler had asked about Microsoft. So let's do that. Let's not only take a look at Microsoft, but the chart, but let's also take a look at some of the news here. Here is the Microsoft chart, and I'll be honest, Tyler, at first glance, I mean, I'm generally a pretty bullish guy. I love technology. You know, we just talked about possible more rotation out of some of the larger cap tech stocks, of which Microsoft obviously fits the bill. But when you look at this chart, I mean, this chart to me looks like it wants to test lower. I'd be curious to hear what you folks think about this. If you're adding, if you're buying sell-offs in Microsoft, would be producer maybe a poll on this one, as Microsoft is a pretty huge name. But looking at this chart here, I mean, no bueno, right? We had a double top formation near the end of the year in the fall of last year's. We broke down from that. We did find support at the 200. We tested it a couple of times, but eventually lost it. When we lost it, we actually tried to recapture it and were rejected. So this is the exact former support now becomes resistance. We've already seen that here on the chart. And on top of that, we had a trend line here that originated on Liberation Day, connecting some of these downside areas, and that trend line is broken too. Furthermore, if downside continues here, we're looking at a potential death cross here in Microsoft. That would probably be coming up here at the end of January if this continues. It is worth noting that we golden crossed back in June, so this is going to be over 6 months apart. And before that, there was some oscillation. I'm not sure we really looked too much into the 50 crossing the 200 and vice versa prior to that. But this chart here doesn't look all that great. And looking at the chart here, I've got 444.29 denoted by the 500-day moving average. Be honest, just looking at that, that looks like a pretty good next stop here. Furthermore, I would look all the way back to the gap that we put in at the beginning of May. Perhaps this 425 area could be support. But hell, if that breaks, we've got a gap fill down here to 395. So you have some pretty clear spots here on Microsoft to maybe catch this. You'll also notice, let me back out a little bit more here. You'll also notice that if we do back out a little bit more to encompass a majority of, or all of 2025 and then some of 2024, you'll see that volume point of control right down here in the center of the gap that we just talked about, right around 420. So I know Microsoft is doing really well and all that, but this easily could trade a bit lower here. So curious to know, what do you folks think about this? Would you buy Microsoft on a move back down? Just let me know. Let me know what you think here on Microsoft. But let's cover some of the news before we bring on Tim. Microsoft pledges to, I have to share this. Microsoft pledges to bear own. I almost read that as bear down, guys. I almost read that as bear down. I'm in trouble. Microsoft pledges to bear its own data center power costs amid Trump's pressure over surging energy bills. Remember, we had seen the tweet or the post or the truth from Trump saying that he doesn't want these data centers to affect regular Americans' electricity bills. And while his post sounded great on the surface, my immediate response was, okay, but how? So Microsoft talked, I guess they were on CNBC yesterday during the day. I didn't see it because I was tied up, but it looks like we're moving towards that. Microsoft has pledged to adopt a community-first approach to its AI infrastructure expansion, ensuring the local electricity bills do not surge due to its operations. The company unveiled its plans on Tuesday, stating that it would take necessary measures to be a reasonable neighbor in the communities where it builds, owns, and operates its data centers. The company plans to collaborate with local utilities to ensure its payment fully reflects its share of the strain on the local grid, helping avoid higher energy costs for local consumers. So my initial question there about how are they going to do this? Well, it looks like they're going to analyze what the demand for their electrical draw is, and then ensure that they're not passing on higher costs to be soaked up by the consumers. How effective will they be? I suppose that remains to be seen. Microsoft also committed to creating jobs in the communities where it establishes its data centers to minimize the center's water usage, which is a significant issue in many areas. This move by Microsoft comes amid increasing scrutiny of big tech companies' environmental and social impact. Earlier in the week, President Trump called on major U.S. tech companies, particularly Microsoft, to bear their data centers' power bills to prevent Americans from paying higher electricity bills. Trump emphasized that the U.S. is a leader in AI and that the data centers are crucial to the AI boom, but insists that tech companies must pay their own way. Notably, this announcement comes on the heels of a contentious $1 billion data center project in Michigan Township, where Microsoft's cloud infrastructure team was revealed as the interested party. The disclosure followed local pushback and speculation, with the community expressing a desire for more information about the proposal. In February, Microsoft had reiterated its plan to build $80 billion in AI in 2025, while noting that adjust its infrastructure in certain areas. Now, I know we've spent a lot of time talking about some of these rankings here. I was asked earlier by Sean to give one sentence on why Pro is better than Yahoo Finance. I did not include the rankings in that sentence. Shame on me. I'm sure Tim will scold me here in a sec, but this would be another reason. These proprietary rankings are designed to make it easier for you to find quality, growth, value, and momentum, 4 pillars of trading and investing. You don't get this on Yahoo Finance. Microsoft holds a momentum rating of 34.07 and a quality rating of 82.02, according to Benzinga's proprietary edge rankings. Quality pretty high there. That momentum score can change. I don't want to say pretty quick, but that can change. It's also worth noting Microsoft is not in a short or medium uptrend, but is still holding on to its long-term uptrend. Okay, now the other thing here, and this is a big story here, and there are people that are going back and forth on this. Again, this one is also spoke with Tim about this yesterday. He's got some strong thoughts on this. This has to do with the credit card rates that will dramatically reshape lending. JP Morgan CFO warns of negative consequences. It sounds like him and Tim were on a phone call together. Banking giant JP Morgan's CFO Jeremy Barnum has warned that President Trump's proposal to cap credit card interest rates could have far-reaching impact on the credit markets, particularly on subprime borrowers. During the company's fourth quarter earnings call on Tuesday, Barnum said, quote, "People will lose access to credit in a very, very extensive and broad basis," end quote, while adding that the move was likely to impact people who need it the most. According to Barnum, such price controls could dramatically alter the nature and provisions of its service, which he said were among the most competitive businesses that we operate in. Barnum acknowledged that Trump's proposal was bad for JP Morgan Chase, noting that this is a big business for us, and with price controls in place, it may no longer be. Asked whether the administration had consulted banks on the proposal, Barnum responded, "This is happening very quickly in sort of an unconventional way, starting with a social media post." Suggesting that there had been no direct communication prior to this from the White House. Now, that we shouldn't be surprised, right? We've talked a lot about Trump being very blusterous, throwing stuff out there without all of these details. Then we'll see how that all shapes up. We'll see if it even takes place to begin with, to be honest. Towards the end of the fourth quarter, JP Morgan had $402 billion worth of consumer loans and credit card balances on its books. The company released its fourth quarter earnings on Tuesday, reporting $46.8 billion in revenue, which was up 7% year over year, and ahead of consensus estimates at $46.02 billion. It reported earnings per share of $5.23. That beat the estimate of $4.92, with a 60-cent net contribution from its acquisition of Apple's credit card portfolio. And again, just kind of focus on some of these rankings here. JP Morgan scores well on momentum with a 67.27 rating and decent on quality at 34.68. Okay, I've got just a couple of minutes before Tim. I'm going to knock out as much of this as I can, and I promise I'll do it quickly. We're going to follow up on a couple of other stories that we've talked about. Elon Musk says Tesla will stop selling full self-driving post-Valentine's Day. It will only be available as a monthly subscription. Now, before I dive into the rest of this story here, I just got to say, me personally, as a consumer, I'm actually quite tired of everything moving to a subscription-based model. I mean, I don't know, for any of you that have pets, I've looked into like the Smalls pet food for my cat, and it's like, I have to have a subscription. What if the cat doesn't like the food? Or what if he doesn't eat this much 1 month? It's just everything going to a subscription is, in my opinion, not great. I certainly don't like it. This would further deter me from ever trying a full self-driving option, Tesla or otherwise, frankly. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk has shared that the company will stop offering full self-driving service as a one-time payment in favor of a monthly subscription. In a post on the social media platform X late on Tuesday, the Tesla CEO shared that the full self-driving service would not be available with a one-time payment. Quote, Tesla will stop selling full self-driving after February 14th. End quote. Musk added that the service will instead be available as a monthly subscription post Valentine's Day. It's worth noting that Tesla offers the full self-driving service currently with either a one-time payment of $8,000 in the US or as a monthly subscription with a fee of $99 per month. Given the update, the full self-driving subscription amount to $1,188 annually, which could help boost the adoption as the FSD take rate, according to Gary Black, is currently at 15%. So thought here is that by eliminating the upfront option, maybe you'll get more people to sign up for the monthly fee. Again, as a car guy that likes driving, there's no way I would pay $100 per month to take the ability to drive the car away from me and have the computer do it for me. No, not interested in that. The news comes as Tesla's rival Rivian had earlier unveiled its autonomous driving technology, which would utilize a LiDAR-based approach and also offer universal hands-free assisted driving system, which Rivian says can drive on over 3.5 million miles of road across the United States and Canada on clearly marked lanes. It also showcased its Autonomy Plus subscription, which would be available for a one-time payment of $2,500 or a monthly subscription fee of $50. The automaker is targeting early 2026 launch for this service. The company's Model Y crossover SUV, which recently saw a 7-seater layout introduced, emerged as the best-selling EV in the U.S. as Tesla sold over 350,528 units of the vehicle. Representative Brett Guthrie from Ohio, meanwhile, has touted a federal framework for self-driving regulations across the U.S. aimed at promoting innovation and growth of the technology, which would help U.S. companies develop technologies at a quicker pace when compared to their Chinese counterparts. Again, Tesla scores well on the momentum metric at 77.9, while offering a satisfactory quality rating at 57.49, but poor value. It also has a favorable price trend in the short, medium, and long term. Okay, and then one more thing here, just real quick. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but we've talked about this almost every single day. Netflix is reportedly preparing to offer an all-cash bid for Warner Brothers Discovery as Paramount turns up the heat. We have discussed this a lot recently. I was really saying that, to me, if you're going to trade Netflix, you really have to wait till this thing is out of the way here. But basically, Netflix is reportedly preparing to revise its terms of its $82.7 billion deal to buy Warner Brothers Discovery to make it an all-cash offer as it seeks to fend off Paramount's Skydance. The original agreement values Warner Brothers Studios and its streaming assets at $27.75 per share, with a $4.50 payable in Netflix stock. Paramount, led by David Ellison, has offered $30 per share in cash for Warner Brothers Discovery, including its cable television division, and threatened a proxy fight to overhaul the board. Netflix's potential move comes as Paramount pressures Warner Brothers Discovery to reconsider the terms of an offer. Terms by offering a higher bid and initiating a lawsuit for financial transparency. So let me know what you think is going to happen here and what's going on with Netflix. I'm still in the camp that until this thing is solved, probably best staying away. Okay, we are waiting on the PPI numbers. Let's do that here real quick. Then we'll bring on Tim. Probably have to give him an extra minute here. Core retail sales month over month for November were 0.5% versus the 0.4 estimate. U.S. PPI month over month for October, 0.2 versus the 0.3 prior read. U.S. core PPI month over month for October was flat versus the 0.1 prior read. U.S. PPI year over year for October, 3.0% versus the 2.7% prior read. And U.S. core PPI year over year for October, 3.0 versus the 2.6 prior. S&P futures here relatively unchanged as they are still down 0.39%, which was the exact value they were at when we signed on here today. All right, folks, it is time for one of our favorite guests here. Let's go ahead and bring on Tim Melvin. Tim, how you doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. Look at that messy hair. Got all kind of static electricity going on here. Had my hat on, walking the dog. You guys will just have to live with it, I guess.
Nobody's complaining. Hey, Tim, at least I know you don't like snow. At least you're not in Chicago right now. It is a straight up blizzard from Old Man Blizzard here.
No, we don't do that. I was in snow in Baltimore earlier in December. Just a not so gentle reminder of how much I disliked the stuff. So, but stay safe, stay warm, stay off the streets. That's all I can say. And, Ryan, the idea of you saying, "Oh, I'm not going to pay $100 for a self-driving car," you wouldn't pay $1,000 a month for a self-driving car. There's not too much you love more than driving around in your car. Right. So,
I've been very clear about that, but it's just this whole thing, like. Now I just have another reason to not like it. Like, stop forcing me into a billion subscriptions universe. Like, just stop doing it.
Yes, I'm so tired of the subscription thing. It's just
okay. So I'm not alone in that. That's good.
No, I mean, because look, services, I get it. Subscription services, newsletters, magazines. There's certain things. Benzinga Pro databases. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a subscription service. All right.
Yeah.
A car is not a subscription. Groceries are not a subscription.
That's right.
Right. My wife has a car wash subscription. I'm like, we could just pay them when you go to the car wash. But no, she likes to go to the car wash a lot more than I do, apparently.
Yeah. And I'll say, look, I hate to even do this. I know I'm the crazy one. I'm the outlier here, but man, that makes the hair stand up. That makes my skin crawl. Car wash subscriptions absolutely destroy your paint. It's just what it does. All of that contact, it scratches the paint, turns the car into a giant hologram. It should never be used. But I'm obsessive. I get it.
Yes. Somebody's asking if I have an opinion on FRMI, and the answer is no. I know it's a REIT that's doing oil and gas infrastructure. It's never hit our screens, so I've never really done much with it. Having said that, I'm wildly bullish, as everybody I think knows, on midstream oil and gas infrastructure. So, and it plays into data centers, it plays into a lot of things, which leads me into what we're going to talk about today, right? And if you could boot up Pro, because you drive this thing better than I do.
I see what you did there with the driving analogy. That
Oh
was
yeah,
well
yeah,
done.
it did,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's an
No,
excellent job.
no, and
Excellent job.
it's $100 a month for you to do this, so I'll just send you a check. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. So, look, something like 40% of the returns of your overall portfolio is going to be driven by sector performance. Okay. As a matter of fact, between sector and market, that's like 80% of performance. So if you get the sector right, which is not always easy, you kind of give yourself a leg up. So the way we're going to look at this is Wall Street is the land of mean reversion. Right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at some of the crappy industries that have underperformed, which is, I'm mindful that Peter Lynch, and Peter Lynch, by the way, is on the mandatory reading list, right? The mandatory reading list is Ben Graham's The Intelligent Investor, Marty Whitman's Aggressive Conservative Investor, and Peter Lynch's One Up on Wall Street, right? If you haven't read those, you don't belong in the game. And I'm serious. This is like, playing football without knowing what a forward pass is. So those are the three. Those are the three you must read. And when your kids are old enough to read and understand, like high school, these are the three that you give them Lynch's book first. It's easier to read. But these are the ones that I think you have to read, and then we can build out from there. You guys ever want to do a reading list thing in the morning? That's fun, and I'd love to do it. But when we take the worst performing industries, Ryan. Let me get my screen back up here.
And really quick, while you're doing that, we're going to use the scanner here in Benzinga Pro. So
yes, we are.
First of all, I'm going to demonstrate how we actually find these stocks, but we're also going to talk about some actual stocks themselves. So I'm going to start here with just a brand new scanner in its default configuration.
Okay. So, and I'm just trying to align this here. We're going to start with chemicals. I've kind of gone through this a little bit. A couple of these groups have not populated yet. We're going to have to call Dev about that later on. But we've got most of what we need here. So if we go to chemicals stunk last year.
Well, what are we doing? Industry?
We're doing industry groups. I'm sorry, Ryan. Yes.
All right. We're going to select chemicals.
Right. We're going to select chemicals, and we're going to make sure on the screen that we have the rankings up there. I'm sorry. So let's make sure the rankings are there.
All right. And again, just what I'm doing here is I'm simply adding these rankings so that we can see the numerical values, and I'm filtering on industry chemicals. Okay,
right. So the economy in the United States, if you look at the bell curve, right, there's a good chance we have a really good year. Right. And you guys know all this. You talk about it. You've got the reshoring of industries. You were just talking about the massive amount of spending on data centers and AI. Somebody just threw Bill O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stocks up there. I mean, yeah, that's not category one. That's like, this is the mandatory reading. This is the reading that you should also do. That's probably at the top of that list. That is a fantastic book. So we're going to look at the industry groups, and we're going to sort them by best and worst. And then do not throw anything, do not hiss, do not boo. But George Soros once said that he takes a very contrarian approach to the stock market. And what he does is when he looks at an out of favor industry group, he wants to buy the best and the worst in the group. The best will be the one that holds up if it takes longer than expected. The worst will have the best chance for recovery. Now, we're going to change that a little bit, Ryan, and we're going to make it the strongest and the cheapest.
Okay.
Okay.
I like it.
Let's take this chemical file and let's sort it by momentum.
Okay. So I'm just going to click on momentum, make sure that the arrow is pointing down, and we have the highest scores at the top.
Correct.
Got an old friend right at the top there.
you are old friends with sure,
Albemarle.
Albemarle. Sure.
Albemarle. We had talked about this one when this was sub 100. We talked about buying this between 80 and 90 for a move above 100. And where are we at here this morning? 175.
175. You've got Perimeter Solutions. This is a company that we owned for a period of time and made quite a bit of money on, by the way. They do fire retardants, primarily airborne. We had this in the Trade Alerts portfolio for a period of time. Look, if the economy is going to be strong, the chemicals industry has to be strong. Period. Do not pass go. End of discussion. If your chemical industry is weak, then your producer level industry is weak, right? Nobody's ordering the feedstocks and the stuff that it takes to make everything. So if the economy is going to be good, then materials and chemicals are going to be good. So when we look at this list, I mean, there's a Chilean company. We could go down. Motif Holdings is specialty materials engineering to filtration, advanced materials. Just I'm looking for some that I know pretty well. Sasol is for vertical chemicals and energy. They're in South Africa and the international chemical business. Most of the revenue is generated in South Africa.
Are you interested in looking at any of the other rankings, like the quality or the value score, to kind of combine with this?
No, not to combine.
Okay.
We're going to do strongest and cheapest. So looking at this, we've got a list of names. Albemarle is the top. That's the top momentum. That's the strongest in the group. Mm-hmm. Now let's sort on value.
Okay.
Okay, I'm playing along at home. And now here's something interesting. Sasol is on the momentum list. It's also right dead at the top of the value list. Okay. I don't care if it's South African. I'm now kind of all in on that one, right?
Okay.
Then Mosaic. Mosaic is fertilizer. And again, this is a stock that I have owned in the past. The stock is extremely cheap on any metric. Fertilizer demand has been extremely soft globally. I think at some point this has to pick up. When it does pick up, this company is extremely leveraged to it. They're in both phosphate and potash. There are pricing pressures across the board in the industry, but this is, again, we're buying the out of favor industry that nobody likes. For the global economy to be strong, we're all going to want to eat. And as middle classes develop around the world, fertilizer demand goes up. So, a combination to play chemicals of Albemarle and Mosaic is not a bad start. Now, Lynch also said that, because I got sidetracked, that one of the things he loved to do was take a lousy industry and buy the highest growth companies in that industry. Now, I want you to, if you sort on growth, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Now go to the third name, Sasol.
I have those preferreds in there. No, you're absolutely right. So Sasol's, I see what you did there, Tim. This one, high score on all of these.
Right. And I'm going to be honest, I had no idea it was going to be there. So
but you had already said you were all in, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. But then look at the fourth name.
Albemarle.
Right. So, putting Soros and Lynch's, by the way, don't read Soros's book. It's so damn confusing. Oh, what a waste of time that was. But the Soros theory of the best and the worst, and the Lynch theory of the highest growing company in a bad industry, you can see that you got a pretty clear choice when it comes to the chemical industry.
Pretty easy to do too. Pretty easy to uncover.
Right, I mean, just bang, bang. You're right there, right?
And of course, I know other folks like to do other types of analysis, like taking a look at what the price to earnings is, price to sales, what some of the financials are. Again, all of that can be done right here. Part of me wonders if there was any insider trend. Now, I don't have anything on the insiders here for Sasol. I don't really have. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking. I'm just kind of thinking out of the box here of all the other things that we can do.
Insider confirmation on these out of favor stocks is fantastic.
Sure.
I mean, if you get one of these that's got the growth and the momentum and the value, and it's insider buying, I mean, that's like you hit the slot, right? I mean, that's recovery's on the way. I think you've really stacked your probabilities nicely. And that's what this is about with Pro, from a long-term investor point of view. We're stacking probabilities, right? We have an out of favor industry. It's an industry that's necessary to everyday life, basically. We've got companies that either have strong price momentum or are deeply undervalued, growing rapidly, or some combination of one of the three. And so these are all things that have higher probabilities of high long-term returns, and we're just stacking them one on top of each other. So don't think of it as screening for ideas. Think of it as probability stacking.
Okay, I like that. Probability stacking. I like that a lot.
Okay. Now here, what the next one, Ryan, in the REIT section under equity REITs did not populate for me this morning. I'm going to fill that in a little bit. We can go down to real estate services.
Now, are we talking about adding a different industry here? So I'm going to remove.
Yeah, no, I'm moving on. Remove chemicals, yes.
And then we're adding which one? Real estate management and development.
Yeah, let's do that one because real estate has gotten the kicked out of it, right? It's not been a great year for real estate prices, for real estate providers, particularly on the commercial side of things. Real estate has been one of the largest underperformers. I think that's going to change because it looks like commercial real estate, and there's only two problems in commercial real estate, really, right? It's downtown central office buildings and rent controlled apartments. Everything else, honestly, it's fine. I mean, when you get to office that's not downtown and it's in a suburb or it's in a small town, those office buildings are doing fine. They're occupied. There's going to be some increase in the cost of owning the building, in the rent roll, in the mortgage rollovers, but it's manageable. So central business districts, all mostly confined to the larger banks. When you go through the banking industry statistics, and I do on a pretty regular basis, and you look at where the problem commercial real estate loans are in the banking system, two things become obvious. One, there's not many. B, the ones that are there are in the larger banks. So most of this problem is in the commercial mortgage-backed securities market, and that's healing. The default and delinquencies are still high, but they're steadily coming down in office. So I think we could see a really strong recovery in commercial real estate this year, and it's one of our worst performing groups of 2025. So when we go to the sector, we go to Open Door Technologies and digital residential real estate market, transactions, buying, selling homes. So
do you want me to sort by one of these rankings?
Yeah, I'm sorry, sort by momentum. Jeez, I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm not, I need more coffee.
I feel you, man.
So, I mean, we've got some interesting companies here. You've got Open is a digital residential real estate company. And again, these are leading, kind of the way. The residential business has been marginally better, although from a sales point of view, it hasn't been great. They've been struggling a little bit, as you can see in the Bulls and Bears say section down there. But this is the company that is absolutely leading the way, providing digital services to the residential real estate market. Then one that I find fascinating on here.
I got one that I find fascinating too.
You go first.
All right. It's going to be Triple H. Howard Hughes Holdings. Yeah. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I find this fascinating. Just I'm listening to the thesis that you're building here, and I know we started here. Let me actually highlight the row here. We started here with momentum, right? So we have it sorted on momentum. So that's a decent momentum score, but a very high value score and a pretty good growth score as well. Now, Howard Hughes Holdings, wasn't this the company that Bill Ackman said he wanted to turn into the next Berkshire Hathaway?
Yeah, and he's still working on that. Believe me.
Okay, so interesting that this one appears on the list here.
Now, the one that I am a huge fan of on this list, actually, and I have owned this and made just about 4 pots of money, okay? And that's Stratus Holdings, Stratus Properties, STRS. Not a large company. If you are going to buy it, be very, very careful. Use a limit order. Stratus is a diversified real estate company, blah, 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 blah. It owns a bunch of Austin, Texas, is basically what's going on here. Okay, they own apartments, they own office buildings, they own commercial properties, all primarily in that major Austin market. They've got residential, they've got retail, they've got mixed use. And I got to tell you, they've owned it for a long time. So I see the book value there is $23. That's understated by an enormous number because it's a fully depreciated book. Um, every so often, a takeover offer comes along on this company, and they've danced up to the altar and then broke up at the altar a couple times. One time, like halfway through the ceremony, because this is just an incredibly valuable collection of properties in the hottest real estate market in the United States, and it's a market that's not going to cool off anytime soon because you've got the University of Texas with what are they up to now? 70,000 students, right? And the ones that don't live on campus are going to be renting apartments. They're all shopping. They're going to bars. There's offices to serve these people. Then you've got the government is headquartered in Austin. So you've got a massive state government infrastructure. Dell is in Austin. And every tech company in California that's paying those ridiculously high corporate taxes and paying high personal taxes as executives is looking at Texas and going, no income tax, lower property tax. It may look expensive to the rest of the world, but it looks pretty damn cheap to us. They're moving to Austin. So this is just a great play on the Austin, Texas real estate market.
Interesting.
So anyway, that's my favorite on that list. And then come around, let's sort it on value now.
Got it.
And okay, you've got 4-star group. And again, this is residential real estate development company. You've got Remax, which
I used to work for Remax back in college.
I like Remax. I'm just, straight up, I like Remax. They are probably the strongest of the residential brokerage companies. Now, residential brokerage is not a fantastic business right now because of the inventory problem, right? And everybody's throwing all sorts of ideas. Have Fannie and Freddie buy bonds. Let's try to lower interest rates. Let's do this. Let's do that. Sooner or later, somebody's going to figure out that the answer to the housing crisis is building more homes. And it's actually the only answer, because the only other solution is to wait until Ryan and I die, right? Because Ryan's got a mortgage down under 4%. He ain't leaving. My mortgage isn't much more than that. And I like where I live, and I'm over 55 and I ain't leaving. And there's a lot of Ryan and I. In fact, more than half the homes in the country have some sort of combination of that. And that's what's causing the affordability crisis. All right. So there's a lot of solutions being talked about. Sooner or later, we start to build more homes, which will create new inventory, which will give the residential brokers something to do. Now, the other one in here that I find, there's your HHH. We're going to stay away from some of these, but Jones Lang LaSalle is in here, and they are commercial real estate services, advice, investment management. So that one's interesting. And for those of you that don't know what St. Joe is, now St. Joe belongs on the market just went to in a handbasket. Everything's collapsing. You go out and you buy yourself a little bit of St. Joe on the cheap. Everybody knows Florida, right? So with Florida, the map is like this whole area up here, right? Below Pensacola, above Tampa, St. Joe owns an enormous plot of land right there in the bend of Florida that they've slowly been developing over the past several decades. They're the reason there's now an airport up in that area, because all of that land, all of those communities are being developed by St. Joe. They got a lot of land left, right? And they're also collecting all the normal fees that a developer and community owner gets off of these communities, which are egregious and enormous, which is why I won't live in a community with an HOA. But they've got golf front properties that they're renting out. So this is the Florida play, right? And every so often you get a market that goes pop and Florida gets hit hard, and you go and you buy some St. Joe, because this thing, it's worth more than the current stock price, and the bigger discount you can buy it at, the happier you're going to be.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm burning up my time, so we're going to go to one other one that I think you want to look at, and that was mortgage REITs. Right there, it is, mortgage real estate investment trusts. And more than anything else than just throwing out ideas, I want you to see the process here, right? If you're excited about an industry group, in like a minute, you can go to Benzinga Pro, sort it by the industry group, and use the rankings to give you everything you need to know. If you're looking at it from a trading perspective, you can throw the trend information in there, all with a couple clicks of a button. Yep. So you're saving an enormous amount of time. So anyway, let's click out of real estate services and let's go to mortgage real estate investment trusts. And we're going to click on the momentum. Mm-hmm. Look, real estate is recovering. Okay. I don't, as we get, we may not be at an absolute bottom on everything, but it's recovering. This is a great time to be a lender in the commercial real estate business. You're doing the loans at, on average, I think these things are getting done out there at 60% loan to value on the commercial side. And I'm just, so, coming down to the top one up here on the momentum side of things is Apollo Commercial Real Estate. We absolutely love the Apollo Commercial Real Estate. They're doing financing on commercial properties all over the United States. Okay. It's kicking off an enormous dividend, 10%. They've got all the backing of Apollo's real estate department, their expertise and their relationships and their, expertise in credit and property management. So they've got really deep-seated kind of partners there. And it is a great time to be investing in debt securities in the real estate business, right? The 10% dividend is already above the long-term market rate of return. So we just have to not screw up during the period of our ownership, and we should come out of this thing in really good shape.
Really quickly, I also just added dividend yield as a data point here, just so we can also, when we're looking through this list, we can very easily compare what that dividend yield is. Okay,
very good. And then when we look, the other one, and this is, again, a must own in the, and you'll notice that the momentum rankings are awful across the board. So like the really good momentum ones are still not good. So Ladder Capital is, they're the cream of the crop in commercial real estate lending. They've been so ridiculously careful when everything was going bad as interest rates started to go up. They didn't reinvest any of the cash that came in from payoffs. Okay. They have very limited office exposure. They have a ton of cash on hand. They've been able to really put themselves in a position to be the lender of last resort. They run an extremely conservative loan book. Balance sheet is pristine, tons and tons of cash.
Insider buy in October, albeit very small.
Yeah, well, they've got a very large insider ownership level anyway. Mm-hmm. This one shows 4%. That's actually a little bit low. I think there's a beneficial owner being counted as a institution in that number. But this thing's sitting here, it's thrown off 8.5%. And it is kind of the highest quality, although quality rankings are not going to kick that one up. Now, the value rankings are not kind in this group is one way to put it, because of the way the rankings work and the way the balance sheets of mortgage REITs work. It's not necessarily going to capture what we're looking for. I tend to use just price to book value in this area, and a couple things I want to highlight. And I'm going to run out of time. Franklin BSP Trust, 75% of this portfolio is in multifamily around the country. Fantastic portfolio, fantastic dividend yield. And then the other one is a good friend who Ryan and I both, Starwood Property Trust.
Yes, sir. STWD.
STWD. So right now, mortgage REITs did not have a fantastic year. Real estate has been out of favor. But this is one of the best times I can remember seeing since the great financial crisis to be lender in commercial real estate. Values are bottoming. A lot of the marginal players are out of the industry. The commercial banks are cutting back on their commercial real estate exposure. Um, and so there's room for people with expertise, deep pockets, and cash to step in here and begin to print some rather serious money as lenders in commercial real estate. And these three REITs are going to do that. So um, I think that kind of gets us all the way there this morning, Ryan. We're going to run out of time, and I don't want to do that.
That's okay. This is a really good exercise, Tim, and I like doing this. I think we should probably do this more often here, where we use the tool to limit or to find stocks that meet certain criteria, and then pick which ones might be the best from that. All of that can be done here within Benzinga Pro. This is what we do on a regular basis.
Yes, but I mean, look, just sorting stocks by momentum and value in an industry group would take you an extremely long time on most of the other sites that you might use around the web. We did it here very, very quickly. We gave you everything you need to know about how undervalued it was, how good the momentum was, and how strong the growth was. You had all that, boom, right at your fingertips. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, me too. All right, Tim, really good stuff here today. As always, we appreciate it. Look forward to having you back next week.
And I look forward to being back next week. Have a great week, everybody. I'll be funnier next week. We just didn't have enough time for my usually zingers and a collection of comments. So.
Oh, darn. We had to find stocks that people can hold and make them money. What a disappointment we were today, Tim.
I know, but I'll do better and focus on what's really important next week. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks.
All right, Tim, take care. Go Bears. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
All right, that is Tim Melvin, folks. And really quickly, I know there's another, we're going to bring on 13, and we're going to do our pre-market pulse here in just 1 second. But there is something going on that I did want to cover here real quick, and we'll do this as part of our Street Tweets segment. Okay, so this is the big one that's out there right now. This is a zero hedge tweet that is cropping a Truth Social post from Trump here. Trump sees Greenland as vital to the U.S. Golden Dome missile shield. So I know there's a lot of bluster, a lot of back and forth here. The United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome and what we're building. NATO should not be leading the way for us to get it. If we don't, Russia or China will, and that's not going to happen. So it goes on here. The reason that this is important is because they're actually going to meet here today. So I am expecting some news out of this here today. And as far as trading goes, I think that this might actually apply to some of the defense names that we trade on a regular basis. You might also be able to throw in drone companies in there, but we'll have to see what takes place here today. But this is going on. This is one of the most recent posts about this. They are meeting in the White House today, and we expect some movement on the back of that. Okay, that's all I had here for you today. Next, we are going to do our pre-market pulse. Let's go ahead and bring on 13 and see how he's doing here today. All right, 13. Good morning. How you doing, boss?
Doing good. How is everybody? How are you?
I'm doing really good. Everyone seems good. We just had Tim on. Tim's doing good. So no complaints across the board here. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the movers here today. I know there was one that was rolling. There was one that was rolling while we were talking with Tim. Let's break it down. We'll just start here. High Roller Technologies. The ticker is ROLR. High Roller Technology shares are trading higher after the company announced it entered into a binding letter of intent with Crypto.com to launch an event-based prediction markets product in the United States. So a lot of very popular things in there. Crypto.com, prediction markets, stocks moving massively higher. Stock is up 372% here in the pre-market. The stock closed at 350 yesterday. We tapped 20. Now we're coming back in a little bit. I got that VWAP down there at 1340. We'll see if it holds there. Quick peek at the short interest on this name. It's negligible, 0.34% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 75,000 shares. So just to piggyback on what Tim would say, Tim would tell you to use a limit order for this stock. Today, however, it's traded 22.37 million. Float here right in our wheelhouse at 3.6. 13, what do you think of high roller? Are you going to high roll this today?
Well, it seems like a lot of people are excited about this, and I'm starting to wonder if news about prediction markets is going to drive stocks higher this year. It seems like that's an emerging theme that we're going to have to keep an eye on. This is a letter of intent, so there's nothing solidified here with this, but that didn't stop the price from running over $20, which at that price gives this company a $170 million valuation. Normally, in any other day or days when it's trading down, the market cap's just under 30 million. So might be getting a little ahead of itself. Going to expect this one to come back in, but we could still see some more fireworks throughout the morning here first. Company did report their last quarter profitable. So it seems like they are trying to at least turn things around here. It seems like they've been growing some revenue. We'll see how long that lasts. At 3.6 million shares, this is getting pushed around. We're still above VWAP, kind of consolidating just above 1475, I would say. There's no data or any levels to really look at because we're in blue sky territory right now. So the only levels I have are going to be to the downside. But if you bust out a Fibonacci, you're probably going to an extension. You're probably going to have some areas you can shoot for here. But for now, I would, if I'm going to be looking for some upside, I'm going to want to see that 1475 hold. I'm not quite sure we're going to get that as we approach the open. So for me, given that we just had this huge run, it's starting to consolidate, maybe even roll over. I think I'd want to wait this one out until the open and see if that VWAP holds up.
Okay, I think you're right there. Chris in the chat is asking, ROLR, does it equal a short? So I see what you're saying here. I mean, it's obviously moved 360% on a letter of intent. So I can understand exactly why that's the case. The one thing, I'm not going to trade it short. I'm going to look for my money on the long side here today. But the one thing I will say is if you do try this, please make sure you have a stop. This stock has already shown you today what it can do. You don't want this ripping more in your face. That will hurt quite a bit. Do I know that this is going to go down? I would imagine it probably trades down a little bit here today, even on a regression back to the mean. I think it could move down there. I'd be, for a long side trade, I'd be waiting for a hold or a recapture of the VWAP. That right there implies $2 move to the downside. This really more comes down to, are you trying to make your money on the short side here? If you are, the stock that's up 370% on a letter of intent might make a good target. Just be careful with how you're doing that.
And something that's interesting, I'm just noticing right now on a 5-minute chart, if this current candle we're in ends up closing red, I'd be watching the next one to see if that gets a impulse move to the upside. That seems to be, what I guess we'll call the algos have been kind of pushing this around with. So we had that impulse move up that took us to 2067, and then we had 3 red candles and then another impulse move up. Mm-hmm. Now we're facing another potentially 3 red candles here. We'll know in a little less than 2 minutes if we're going to close that way. But just I still think that 1475 area we're going to want to keep an eye on for support.
And to your point, that second green candle, that actually gives us a lower high. Now we've got a trend line there. So we'll see if we stay under this, come back in. So Chris, let me know how you do on this. Full disclosure, I will not be shorting this name here today. Jay, good morning. Good to see you. TSM, wow, bought 900 acres by my house, paid 197 million. What does that do for the value of your home? And are you worried about your electric or your water bills? Just out of curiosity. Okay, moving on here. The second stock on our list is going to be Gel Tech. We actually talked about this in the rundown in Stocks in Focus here today. Gel Tech here. This was surging after positive preclinical results for its cannabinoid gel discovery system. So yeah, that sounds like fun. Stock is still up by about 46.4% here. You can see we regressed back to the mean a little bit, but we're basically trading sideways here in the pre-market. What I'd be looking at here, pre-market trade, really 130, I think probably the upside there, 117, 115 maybe would be your downside. It's going to break out of that range, I would think, at some point here today. A quick peek at the short interest uncovers 0.55% of the the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That's basically nothing. That should have no impact on the trading here today. Average volume of 1.4 million shares today. We've done 10.7. Float on this one is 7.1 million, so it can move around quite easily. This is probably the range that we like to trade some of these stocks in. 13, what do you think here of GELS? Chart news.
I think that the price action as it relates to when the news dropped was kind of weird. We did get some movement when it initially dropped at 9 a.m. Yesterday, but the whole day it didn't really do anything. As a matter of fact, it put in I think a new low, and then after the closing bell, this thing just absolutely ripped. I don't know why that is, but we do know that when the markets, in the after hours, you can get a lot more of these wild, illiquid moves. So there's that. But it's just kind of interesting that we got all that downside during the day, and then after the, in between, on the bookends, if you will, like the pre-market and the after hours, all the price action happened there. So I thought that was strange. Now, this is an Australian-based company with offices in Illinois and China. So it's going to need some cash. I mean, it doesn't look like they have got a whole lot, and it's another biotech company, so they're going to be burning through cash. I'd say that at this stage, this 120 area that we're trying to get through, this is where the big resistance is, I think. And the company does need cash, so they could also raise capital as well. But looking at the 5-minute chart here, I'd say that 120 area, we do need to recapture it. That's going to take us back over the, I think if we could get a little bit higher, like 123, that takes us over the 65 EMA. Resistance right here that I'm seeing beyond 120, 130. Since we lost that this morning, or I'm sorry, yeah, we opened in the pre-market, haven't been able to meaningfully recapture it and close above it. So 130 is going to be the next resistance area from where we are right now.
Okay, I completely agree with that. We'll see if we take that out. We'll see if we break down or go up. And I agree with you. Price action here, strange, right? Got that stuff in the morning. Stock didn't really do anything. And it's like they all just waited till the after hours, which is odd. All right, next here is going to be AZI. This is AutoZ Internet Tech. I feel like we traded this recently here. I know it kind of, it was right in here. Yep, Tuesday, January 6th. This was one of our movers. We ended up making a double top the next day and finally came back in. But today we traded higher here on volume. Stock is holding higher by about 22%. Looking at the news here, we did have regaining compliance as the catalyst. So 13, go ahead and laugh it up. We got another one of these things that's moving on, simply just regaining compliance here on NASDAQ. I believe this is one of these Chinese names here. Establishing. Sorry, I'm looking for where that was. Here we go. Sorry. Online and offline channels in China. So definitely a Chinese name here. You could have figured it out by the name, but we confirmed it anyway. 9.5% of the float is shorted with 1 day to cover. So there is some elevated short interest, but not terribly high. Float on this is 2.02 million. On average, it trades 4.5 million shares a day. Today, it's done 10 plus. So what do you think? We get a tradable move like we did on Tuesday, or do we see like what we saw on Wednesday here today?
Well, it's funny because the non-compliance notice just what happened last week on Friday, and then they just regained it on Wednesday. So that didn't take too long. So kind of wondering, why the attentiveness? I guess they're really spooked about being delisted because I know that there's been a lot of talk about delisting a lot of Chinese companies off the exchanges. So seems like there's been a fire getting lit under their behinds in that sense. But this, I think that the 375 area is going to probably be the big resistance area you're going to get through. I didn't quite look at the financials. I didn't think they looked that great. I thought, let me double check here. Not a very big cash position, but they do have revenue. They are profitable as far as the past few quarters. So that's their financial side there at a glance. But looking at a daily chart, the 375 area does have some resistance that I think is going to take a good amount of volume to push through. And when we do, then we're going to have to deal with $4 where the VWAP is. So got some upside resistance it's going to have to deal with. But if we get past that VWAP, we might be able to go on to make a new session high. You can also draw a trend line from the high from yesterday through the pre-market high. That kind of gives us an area to shoot for if we do get the recapture of VWAP. So that kind of takes us up towards closer to 5 if we do get that move over the VWAP and up towards the trend line.
Okay, I added that trend line here. We'll re-add it on the main page when necessary. I don't know if we'll get that, but man, that's pretty good. That will give us a target. Okay, list is changing around on me. I do have at least 3 on here that I want to cover. We've got plenty of time. First one here is going to be Beam. This is ticker BEEM. This is Beam Global. You can see that the stock closed at 177 yesterday, traded above 250 here in the pre-market. It's come back in, but it actually looks like it wants to curl. We do have some news here. Beam Global announces Q4 2025 revenue rose over 50% from the prior quarter. International sales about half, and non-government commercial revenue about 84%. So pretty good revenue numbers here, which is what's driving Beam higher. Take a quick peek at the short interest on this name. 5.98% of the float shorted with 4.47 days to cover. So some short interest here, not a whole lot. The days to cover is elevated because on average, the stock trades less than 400,000 shares a day. It's done nearly 25 million here today, so that shouldn't be a problem. Float on this is 18.2. What do you think on Beam?
Looks like they're another company that's going to need cash. As far as the chart goes, we're trying to recapture this VWAP here, and that it looks like the momentum is trying to swing to the upside and actually do that. So 220 going to be the big area that we have to get past here, and we're coming right up to it. You can see that since we had this move in the pre-market. We went over that 220 area and we held above it as support for a while until about 7:30 when we lost it and struggled to recapture it. Now we're heading lower, leaning on the 65 EMA as support. That's taking us back up towards the VWAP. So those are going to be the 2 areas right now to watch for support and resistance. The 65 EMA as support, VWAP as resistance. If we do break through that VWAP and recapture 220, the next area of resistance I see is going to be not that far away at about 230, 235.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there on Beam. Now, the next one here, one that you have followed for a long time. Cooler. This is moving here. It is up nearly 23%. Stock closed at about 345 yesterday and is in a 4 handle here today. Cooler Technology Group, 5-year preferred battery supply deal with Kaban, I think that's how you pronounce it, securing $30 million in revenue starting in 2026. So tell you what, 13, that reads really well. That sounds like a pretty good news catalyst there. Cooler, high short interest here. 18.2% of the float is shorted with 4.5 days to cover. Both of those metrics are just short of our threshold for high short interest, so I still think that's notable. Float on this is 42.87 million. On average, it trades 1.8 million shares a day. Today, it's done 4, so there are eyeballs here. Move actually looks pretty decent, right? Nice little impulse move, a little bit of a pullback, but so far it's holding VWAP. 13, I'm going to have you talk about this a little bit. I'm actually going to step away and be right back.
Yeah, so this falls well within the battery theme that we discussed last year. There's a number of companies that are going to probably be tapped for not just their safety, but for their ability to produce the components needed. We already talked about Albemarle earlier this morning. Big lithium play. They're going to be important for making a lot of batteries. You have Bloom Energy is another company that's on the fuel cell side. They're going to be providing us energy storage for data centers. So batteries are going to be a big theme, and this one is involved in battery safety and thermal management, so that if let's say a battery overheats and starts to explode in a sense, this company builds the thermal casings and management systems that are going to prevent thermal runaway, so where it starts transferring to other cells and creates a runaway effect that causes the whole vehicle or whatever device attached to go up. So this is more on a battery safety play. I like the company. It's been we've looked at it for a long time. It's been on my radar since 2021. It's doing a lot better financially, and since they finally did the reverse split, they said they wouldn't do. But the company has a much healthier balance sheet right now. It's not quite consistently profitable. So that's something to be desired. But for right now, today, great news that they got a $30 million 5-year contract. That's going to, so that's about $6 million they're going to see every year from that on average. But I would need to see the price get some support here, because it looks like that we're starting to roll over and potentially go move to the downside. So I would think that we don't want to see this drop beneath 4. That appears to be the next support area. So if we do come down there, we're going to want to see that 15 EMA on the 5-minute kick in, provide some support, reverse the price, recapture VWAP, all that good stuff. Hopefully this doesn't come back in, but this is another one. I'm just going to kind of wait out and see what we get from the open.
Okay. Really good stuff there on Cooler. We'll see if we get another move there. All right. Last one I had here that I definitely wanted to cover. We can take a look at any of the other ones that you folks want, but the last one that I had here was going to be GSIT. Feel like, didn't we just talk about this on Happy Hour last night?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. And today, here it is ramping. Now, I have no position on this one. So even though we talked about it yesterday, didn't buy any of this. The stock closed at about 768 yesterday. We did peak above 950. Stock's up by almost 20% here today. Looking at the news here, GSIT announces government-funded Gemini proof of concept with G2 Tech for Edge AI autonomous security systems. This is autonomous perimeter security systems that manages drones and cameras in real time for advanced monitoring, detection, and response. The project is jointly backed by the Department of War. So this actually sounds pretty good, and perhaps this can go on a pretty huge run. If we take a look at the daily chart, the stock has already shown us what kind of range this can move on and how fast it can move in a single session. So keep that on your radar here. We did kind of curl back up off this bottom. Does kind of look 13. I'd love to get your opinion on this, but it sure looks like this 9 to 950 area might actually be some significant resistance for us to bust through. If we do, maybe we can challenge 12 there. Be very curious to see what kind of spots you have here on GSIT.
It does look like 10 is going to be certainly a resistance area. 9 area, I guess a little bit. I could see that. I'm a little bit concerned about just what's happening on the smaller time frame. It's looking a little weak as we approach the open. But what we were talking about yesterday when it comes to this company is that we like this one because they are potentially recovering on growing demand over power efficient chips. That's kind of their big thing. Is their we're seeing a little bit more of an appetite for more efficiency, power efficiency when it comes to these chips. Well. Not losing the compute capabilities. So with,
you think we see other companies go that route too, by the way? I know that's kind of an aside.
I think we've already started to see that. That's one of the reasons why I liked Broadcom, because
gotcha.
We have NVIDIA that is producing the top end chips, but they're very, very power hungry. And the whole idea, I think it was either last year or 2024 when we were talking about this. At some point, there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to be like, well, I don't want to, increase our power costs if I can, get these other chips that, if we can buy like, instead of 100 of them at NVIDIA prices, we can get like maybe 1,000 of these other chips from another company. It's going to do the same job, cost less power for us, and we'll accomplish our goals that way. And you have all these other companies now, Google with their TPUs, you have Broadcom with their custom
Amazon
chips.
With the Trainium 2 chip.
Right. So you have all these different types of chips that are more focused on not just being the biggest and best, but fitting into a little bit of a niche for some smaller companies or companies that don't want to that necessarily need the top of the line or don't want to spend the top of the line prices. So that's where GSIT comes in. It's more power efficient, and we're already talking about how we're seeing a lot of utility bills just skyrocketing because these data centers. So power efficiency is starting to sound pretty good, not just for companies, but for the American consumer.
Yeah, well, the other aspect about this, and we covered this in the news segment earlier with Microsoft, they spoke about this yesterday, and Trump said he wants those companies to bear the responsibility for the increased electrical charges. So if they are for the increased electrical bills. So if they do that, 13, it seems to me like the next step would be to make sure that your chips are not over consuming power. That seems like a natural progression, especially if the companies end up kind of thinking about that and monitoring that to make sure that consumers don't pay more. This seems like the next logical step. Maybe this will be a bigger theme.
Yeah, and let's see. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart here. So it looks like it's kind of getting exhausted as we approach the open, but this is another one I would just wait to shake. Let's see what happens out at the open. Maybe we do hold VWAP, we can push higher. I would expect maybe a little bit of coming in before we start pushing back up, but the daily chart, I think I agree with you. It does look pretty good here. It's just that we are kind of gapping up, and sometimes when you gap up, you do end up, kind of filling that gap a little bit, if not all the way, and then the real move starts to happen. So, right. I think I'd wait this one out a little bit to see what we get out of the open. We're less than 5 minutes away, but I still think that this company is probably going to be one that you're going to want to keep on your radar for the longer term. If not, do what you will with it in your portfolio.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in this. No, like I said, no position, but I am definitely interested. I don't think the drone story is anywhere near done. Okay. Well, is there any other stocks that you had on your list that I didn't cover yet?
Nope.
Okay. There was somebody earlier asking about CleanSpark, which I notice is also on the movers list here today. There is a catalyst here for CleanSpark. CleanSpark shares are trading higher after the company announced an agreement to acquire up to 447 acres of land in Brazoria County, Texas. You'll have to tell me where that is, along with a long-term transmission facility extension agreement. So that's the news here. Let me see if there was anything else in the news feed that I can get for you. Deal is expected to close in Q1 of 2026. That's right around the corner here. Basically a large-scale data center project. That's driving the stock higher here by 5.85%. A short interest on this one, the highest of any of the stocks that we've checked here today. 32.5% of the float shorted with 4 days to cover. I will say that the average volume on this stock is 31 million. We've only done 2.84 here today. So perhaps that short interest actually plays a part in the trading here today. Keep in mind, though, on this one, CleanSpark float is 248 million. So compared to a lot of the other ones that we're looking at here, this is much, much thicker and is likely not going to produce the big moves that we see out of some of these others. Also worth noting, there's actually some pretty good analyst coverage, and they're almost in the 90th percentile when it comes to buy. And as far as the rankings, which we've been talking about, a decent momentum score, actually a pretty good value score, which I guess surprises me. Intact short-term trend, intact long-term trend, but no medium-term trend on this. 13, what do you think on CLSK? Does the chart tell you anything here today?
Well, let me tell you a little something about Brazoria County.
Great. Looks like Trout Bum is doing that too. Is it south of Houston in the Lake Jackson area?
It's like southwest of Houston.
Okay.
Basically, remember I told you the Texas Gulf Link project that's where it's going to see the largest deep water port get built. It's coming off of Freeport. Well, that's all in Brazoria County. Freeport is so.
Okay.
And we're getting a lot of infrastructure projects underway. Not in just that area, but also the county that I'm in and some of the other surrounding counties in Houston. There's going to be a lot of infrastructure build out there, more expanded freeways, more houses are being built. I mean, we are going to be expanding big time in these the Houston area counties. So this is and part of it a lot of it has to do with the Freeport Texas Gulf Link. So that's going to see a lot of expansion. Not surprised that CleanSpark is also getting in on that. We have other data centers in Texas that have been using some of those old smelting sites. Remember Alcoa? We talked about that. So this is all making sense to me that a lot of these companies are coming out here buying up this land, wanting to develop it because there's a lot of projects happening here in Texas. So aside from that, looking at CleanSpark here, we seem to still be holding above the VWAP. We kind of rode it up all morning. And I would say that as long as we hold VWAP, we could take out that 1341 high that we made. It does look like the MACD is kind of, and the RSI are both kind of cooling off here. So, and we're still holding VWAP. So that's a good sign. I would say let's just see if this holds VWAP because I think we've got less than a minute left. We're going to get our answer here pretty soon. That big resistance appears to be about 1330, 1335. Since we came back underneath that at about 830, we haven't been able to recapture it. So that would be the breakout spot that I'd be looking at is 1330 to 1335.
Okay, and that is evidenced by the chart right here. Okay, we are less than a minute till open. Let me flip over to the main workspace here. Let's get ready to trade the open. Just as a reminder, we did extend the show, so it is going until 10:30, at which point the story trading folks will take over for an hour. So we are going to continue on the 10:30 end here for the show. Now, all right, let's see if there's anything moving around here. It looks like I got a couple of penny
There will be in a
stocks.
few seconds.
Yep, right at the open here.
There we are. All right, so high roller trying to push higher right now through 16. Gels, not really gelling.
And I'm kind of watching roller here. That did, in fact, move through 16. Kind of spread pretty good here, but looks like it's going to try and go higher.
Cooler down, getting some support around that 390.
Did we discuss breakfast yet? No, I'm afraid. No food talk here, Tiny Pie. Sorry to let you down today.
Clean Spark starting to move here, looking for that break over the 1330 area, 1335. We're starting to get through it, almost through the pre-market high of 1341.
And roller here still holding above 16. It is pretty all over the map, and it is spread about 20, 25 cents there. CLSK, that was a really good mention. This right up to the pre-market high. We'll see if we snap that here on CLSK. Tesla pulled out of the open here. That's at the low. Sorry, 13.
It's seeing some selling pressure. CLSK right at that. We just popped up to that high 1342. Just a penny above the pre-market high and pulled back in.
That's right.
But we're still hanging out above VWAP for the time being.
VWAP 1320. We'll see if we hold on to that.
AZI tried to push above VWAP. It did and came right back in. Still hasn't recaptured it. May end up testing that 65 EMA before we get that move up there, but no close above the VWAP yet. Gels going lower. Roller is still trying to push into the 17 handle.
And Clean Spark still staying under the 1342 high that it had.
Yeah, looks like it's trying to give it another push here to take it through the pre-market high. There we go. Now we're starting to move.
There we go on Clean Spark. Good stuff.
There's a seller in the way at 1350. If he gets taken out, the next one's at 1360. A lot of sellers seems like every 5 to 10 cents on the way up here for CLSK.
Also EOSE here. I know that this is a stock that we have talked about quite a bit here. They did actually have some news. They're down 4.5% here. EOS Energy launches intensity battery storage architecture featuring modular stackable industry core and targeting of up to 1 gigawatt per acre. So you're actually getting a PR here, and it's selling off on this. Now down 5.5%. Let's see. Was there something in here?
We might not see a lot of these stick around just because we have that Supreme Court decision looming.
Yeah,
so that might just create this this overhead for the entire market. Everything's pulling back right now. Everything is coming in.
Yeah, and actually CLSK is coming back in the market. So I had talked earlier about SPY. I said one of the levels that we'd really be looking to hold today would be that 689, 690. Here we go. So it looks like SPY pushing down to 690. We'll see if it breaks that. Let's see if it moves lower here, holds it.
We snapped the trend line that I've been watching since that November low. We've opened beneath it. We'll see if we can close above it today, but that's not a good sign. If you're bullish, everything just coming right back in. This is where we just wait. High roller halted to the downside now.
Yeah,
this is where we wait.
High roller technologies, and actually that I still have VWAP here at 1383. It'll be interesting to see if that holds that. What happens out of this halt here? ROLR. Mosaic, this is one that Tim was talking about here this morning. I am seeing some call sweeps on this as this is moving to the upside right out of the open. Call sweeps aren't huge, and I'm only seeing a couple of them, but notable because we just talked about it here this morning. Also noticing some Palantir calls here. Palantir ripping out of the gate. A couple of stocks are doing this. Apple is also doing this. And what was notable about Apple is that the last time we talked about this and potential key levels here, we talked about 260 really kind of needing to hold here. And I understand that Apple peaked near 256, but looks like it recaptured it here. Keep your eye on Apple. Where's Tenzin at? Tenzin, how are you trading Apple if you're out there? Supric saying that AZI is about to move.
Yeah, it looks like this one, because the MACD is indicating that the momentum is trying to swing to the upside. So I'd say that this $4 area going to be, probably the toughest area to get through. If we get through that, I think we may end up going to that trend line that we drew. Oh, you don't have it on there yet, but you remember which one it was.
I think this is just from the high, right?
No, it was from the high of yesterday into the high of the.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That's right. That's right. Let me get that here for you. 13. There we go. Let me actually extend this out a little bit more today. Go ahead.
One from yesterday is really moving. AHMA, Ambitions Enterprise. This is it's moving slowly, but it's looking pretty good right out of the gate here. Just took out all of the pre-market price action. Coming back in now. This thing is pretty illiquid. Just be careful with it if you're going to trade it. Just notice it was moving.
Okay.
Getting some support here for the moment with gels at the 200 EMA. If we lose that, it could get pretty ugly. Maybe there's some support down around $1, but if it loses $1, I don't think I'd want to deal with that anymore.
Real quick here, Ryan Summerall saying registering my personal best trade. Well, celebration is in order for your best trade. We'll absolutely give you a register ring for that. Micro strategy here, pretty good too. This has been on a pretty nice run. Let's take a look at a 15-minute chart. You can see this is a pretty nice move off of what looked like almost triple bottom action down here at 156. Stocks 180, looking like it's trying to push higher here. Bitcoin also, by the way, we talked about that, briefly mentioned it earlier. That recaptured 95K. Bitcoin futures here actually flirting with 96K here this morning. And that is up, what, 1.12%. So looking pretty good. We'll see if Mr. or MSTR, how much of the down move this can recover. This is what the daily chart looks like. I would say 200, probably the next significant resistance area.
GSIT through all the EMAs now, and we're probably coming down to close to 750. This is not looking too good right now for GSIT. CLSK also coming in, looking for the 200 EMA.
Oh, that GSIT is nasty, dude.
Gels is also getting at the I think we said it earlier, the 200 EMA.
The only one that's really still working here is AZI on a possible move back to that VWAP.
AZI is I've got AZI above VWAP now, but we still have to get clear of that $4 area. Also BEEM. This one is trying to recapture VWAP. Let's see if we can close above it. This one looks like it's also potentially going to get going here.
Nice.
Yeah. I see some resistance right where we're at and just above this area, 230, 235. That's that same area I think I was mentioning earlier with this one. We're getting a rebound here with CLSK. So just climbed right back over the 65 EMA. Let's see if these other names start to do that as well. Nothing really getting going here with AZI yet. It did have a nice move out of the gate, but still not able to get up to 4.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's doing that a little bit slowly here. One more thing I wanted to cover here. Lion here said, I think MOS could double easily, Ryan. Tim would love to hear that. He was talking about MOS being a pretty good buy where it's at right now. So we'll see if we end up getting that. Wiss here saying Beam struggling to get over the pre-market high, and indeed it looks like it's flirting right there. That 225 area actually looks pretty thick on Beam. We'll see if we can take that out. And then one more thing, Jay Diamond Hands. Good to see you again. Welcome back, Jamie. I hope everyone's been dollar cost averaging into MicroStrategy, one of the greatest investments of all time. The troll level high there for Jamie Diamond. What's going to happen next in the feud with Trump? That's what I want to know. Beams right back onto that 223. I really think 225 is probably the actual number that it needs to break here. The volume actually still looks pretty good as well on Beam. Also, Costco. This is another one that we had talked about quite a bit. The
Roller
demise
open.
of Costco. What's that?
High roller open.
Okay, the demise of Costco greatly exaggerated. Costco making its way back to 1,000. Here's your roller that's open now. It looks like that did trade higher and then re-halt.
Yeah.
Halted to the upside. So on the chart here, it actually looks like it held the 15 EMA and the VWAP, and looks like it might be trying to bounce.
Yeah, CLSK is certainly trying to get back and hold above the 65 EMA. We'll see if that ends up happening. Beam still trying to push up. Cooler trying to get some support from the 65 EMA. AZI still holding above that, or my VWAP anyway. Would like to see that one get over 4. Still not seeing a breakdown yet with gels, but I'm looking at the price ladder here, and there's a seller that's looking like they want to walk this price down.
That's GELS.
Yeah, what's Micron doing today? Because
oh, you know what? You just reminded me. While you look at Micron, let me very quickly bring up the Microsoft chart. We had talked about Microsoft quite a bit. We talked about the software names really getting hit. We talked about the news about Microsoft really kind of sharing the energy costs. We put out a poll earlier. What was the near-term outlook on Microsoft? 31% of you were bullish, 29% of you were neutral, 23% of you were bearish, and 17% of you said they're waiting on data. So it actually looks like a pretty even distribution there for Microsoft.
And what are you calling near term? Just like the weeks or months?
I don't think we necessarily specified on that, but I would say probably a month to 2 months or a shorter on that time frame would be near term.
Yeah, I still think there could be some more downside before we turn around.
Yeah, we had highlighted that on the bigger chart here. Sure looks like it wants to test that 500-day moving average, which is slightly beneath it here. I believe that's a 444-ish.
Micron is looking a little bit weak here, though.
Okay, now did we get to that 360 area? No, we didn't. So what are your thoughts here on MUD for a Micron trade? MUD, of course, the inverse ETF playing Micron to the downside.
Well, I already started buying it, so I'm holding it right now. I'm just waiting for the downside to come. But if it continues up towards 360 some more, I'll just add to the position. I'm just going slow with MUD. I do think that it's extended. I don't think that's going to be a sustained long-term downside move for Micron. I just think we're going to have some kind of corrective moves here after its massive run it's had. I still think these semi names are going to have a really good time over the next let's see, where are we in the next 5-7 years? So this needs to cool off. Okay,
Wiz talking about BNAI. That's another one that we've looked at quite a bit. You're right, BNAI. This is actually not bad here. This is above the pre-market highs and going on some pretty good volume, Wiz. Good mention.
All right.
Good mention on BNAI.
Gel's looking great. It's holding up at the 200 EMA. We'll see if it can turn around and recapture I'd say 115 to 117. That seems to be where there's resistance at this stage.
Okay, the other one that we took a look at was Beam, right? That was struggling to get. Look at that. So it traded right back up to that VWAP. I understand it peaked above, but it still ran into some trouble. 525, 526. That's still an area here. Looking at this chart, I would say this 215, probably you want to wait that one out. If that breaks, maybe we retest 205.
Looks like Cooler is starting to turn around here after hitting the 65 EMA. It's recaptured the VWAP for the moment, but we still have a little less than 2 minutes left in this candle, so we'll see if it can hold above it by that time.
Okay. Kathy likes FIGR. Looking interesting. This is a recent IPO. This is Figure Technology. Actually, this is a pretty nice move here, Kathy. What was this one again? A suite of blockchain-based products and solutions centered around the vision of promising efficiency and liquidity in financial markets. I would imagine that this is moving positively with the move in Bitcoin here today.
When did this IPO?
Let's see.
I don't see it IPOing recently.
I think that I've got a big gap here on the chart, so I think this IPO'd September 11th.
Yeah.
Let me know if I got that right there. Actually, let me check the IPO calendar. I might be able to pull it right.
No, it's September. You're right.
September 10th was when it was priced. First day of trading was, in fact, September 11th. Priced between 20 and 22, currently 59.
Okay, so rollers open again. Looking for 17 at this point. Gels.
That's roller, right?
Yep. Yeah, ROLR. Not getting it. Losing VWAP in the process. Gel's still holding above the 200 EMA. AZI hasn't really done a whole lot in the past 10 minutes. Beam still trying to hold above that VWAP. Not the most robust amount of options here to be looking for. Cooler took, you mean look at the 65 EMA or took the 65 EMA? Let's see here.
I'll bring it up here. We can take a look at it together.
Yeah.
The ULR.
So Cooler, we did get that 65 EMA rebound. We recaptured VWAP. We're coming up to some resistance just below 4 here. Seller on the way at 4, and it seems like there's some other sellers going all the way up to, 430, 433. Let's see if we can get some volume expansion to take out those sellers.
Okay, and taking a look here, Palantir, pretty nasty reversal. So we took a look at this when this was spiking out of the gate, gave everything back, and actually tried to roll lower here. See if it breaks yesterday's intraday lows on Palantir.
Roller not having a good time right now. I think this is going to halt. It's halting pretty soon.
Downside here, it was still right above the VWAP.
Yep. Should still halt here.
Zach saying, what does a very thin spread mean for a stock? So if it's thin, it's likely spread. The way that I look at spread is that the more the stock is spread, the more difficult that kind of is to day trade, especially if you're just trying to scalp. But generally, that also signals how fast it's going to move or how much volatility it's going to have there. The tighter the spread, the easier it is to trade, at least for me.
Yeah, it's more liquid. You'll get your orders are much more likely to be filled when there's more liquidity. When there's very, very large gaps, because there's likely very little participation in that particular name, or the participation that you are seeing, it could be algo driven, but it really comes down to just how much volume you're seeing in that particular name at those particular prices, and it's just very, very spread out.
Alpha here saying, what's driving roller? Not much good news. Yeah, that's kind of what we covered here. It's basically a letter of intent with crypto.com to launch an event-based prediction markets. So it's got some buzzwords in there that are pretty popular, but or that are, I guess, pretty trendy at the moment. But yeah, I'm not, I don't necessarily believe in this one. And with the halt here right at VWAP to the downside, I wouldn't be shocked if this thing really pulled.
GSIT's the one that pulled. This thing now beneath all the price action, even from yesterday. So maybe this is an opportunity here, because it's also testing the 50-day SMA.
Okay.
So maybe this is I mean, if you believe in this company, it's probably a good price. I don't know how much lower it's going to go.
Okay, and actually, I don't know if this is going to resolve here, but it looks like maybe we're retesting possible breakout here on Beam. Remember, we talked about 225, 226. There we go. So, and I know we're peaking above it, but maybe if we can get some more movement here, 240 might be possible. We'll see if we get that here on Beam. Looks like it's starting to break here.
We're going to need to get a lot of volume in this one, because there's a lot of sellers between here and 250. So we're going to need to see that volume really pick up.
13, part of me is wondering if this opening formation here is kind of like chopping up some of those weak hands and moves back and forth to some of these. I almost wonder if this is prepping to go higher here if it does get that volume flow.
It seems like it's trying to. There was another one I was just looking at here. AHMA, the one I was mentioning earlier that was from yesterday, that printed 1350. Not the biggest moves, but been pretty good out of the gate so far. Very slow though, and this is one of the ones that has those big gaps between the prices, so it's quite a liquid. Clean spark looking pretty good though. That's recovered after the reversal just beneath the 65 EMA. Recaptured VWAP. We're coming up to some of the pre-market levels. 1349 is the high of the regular session. There's a large seller in the way there. We'll see if it gets taken out.
Yeah, Wiz, I agree with you. There are better setups than Beam out there. Looked like it was trying to go, but I don't know if I trust any of those breakout buys. CLSK, I actually think I like a little bit more. Positive trader mentioning IBRX. I don't think I've taken a look at that here today. This did have some news this morning, popped here in the pre-market, actually held that 65 EMA and is trying to turn back up. The news catalyst here was Immunity BioShares are trading higher after the Saudi Food and Drug Authority granted accelerated approval of one of its drugs for use in combination with immune checkpoint inhibitors for the treatment of adult patients with metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. Okay, so this actually does look pretty decent here, especially if this continues to trade higher.
This has been on. I mean, this has had a really good start to the year. I mean, it's had a green day every single day. If you bought this at the start of the year, you're doing fantastic. The concern I have right now is that we've kind of gotten overextended with this news. I don't know how much higher this is going to go. If there's going to be more upside, maybe we see 350. But the RSI is at 77, and I mean, it can go higher, but not too much higher. So I think you might be getting to the end of this big move it's had all year. Maybe there's a little bit more to the upside, but I think this is going to get exhausted in the next, if not today, maybe the next day or so.
Okay. Really quickly here, I do want to promote another webinar that we're going to be having that's free to join if you folks want to sign up. 3D, I know that you said earlier that our QR code didn't work. Let me know if it works for this one here. This is how to trade volatility when geopolitics take control. When the headlines become the catalyst, traditional setups lose reliability. Matt Maley shows you how he trades volatile, macro-driven markets, including how he manages position size, uses options to define risk, and avoids forcing trades during sharp reversals. Be sure to learn the setup. Matt Maley has been absolutely in fuego recently, especially on some of those metals. Lion, you'd love it. He's all over gold and silver and oil and all of that. So free webinar there. Let me know if the QR code works here. Enjoy it. Matt Maley is getting it done without a doubt.
Higher roller, not so high anymore. That's starting to come in some more. It's probably going to see some support at about 1220. If we lose that, the next one's going to be at 10. And then 65 EMA after that.
Cam, the webinar has the best price point out there, free 99. Free 99. 3D says that one works. Okay, great. So producer, it looks like the QR code for the webinar yesterday did not work, but this one does work. So maybe we just need to replace that QR code. Good stuff. Thank you, 3D.
Mary, the CLSK high is 1349. We got that right out of the gate. We're getting pretty close to that print right now, but we're going to need just a little bit more volume because at 1350, there's a large seller in the way. That's probably going to provide some resistance if we don't get that volume we need.
Don't look now, but the SPY is doing its best to hold on to the area that we talked about. I had talked earlier about 689, 690 here. We're testing that now. We'll see if this ends up breaking down from here or if this catches and then supports the price. Also, shout out to Wiss here. In fact, we'll give you a one-up and we'll give you Chewbacca's blessing. Beam, the setup that we talked about really not being that great, although it was kind of flashing that move above the VWAP. This now pull back down here to the 15 EMA. I've got the 65 EMA as the next target there at 206. Maybe it would be better to trade down there.
AZI trying to push higher. It's still running into this this seller at 390. It's been kind of hitting that same level all morning and not able to get through it. But we keep hitting it, and as long as we keep hitting it and we see some good volume with one of those times it gets up there, we could see a break through that level. I don't know how high it's going to go after that. Might have more sellers stack up above that breakout area, but it's continuing to hit that 390 area, trying to get through it. We just need that volume component to get through. That's the only thing we're missing right now.
Okay. All right, MSTR, how are we doing here with MicroStrategy? Continuing to hit the highs. On our way back to 200 MSTR. I haven't noticed any unusual option sweeps in that here today. Did notice pretty big Tesla put buy here. These are 440, so it looks like this is a 800 contracts there, expires this week. So it looks like a short-term downside bet there. Robert asking if there's any news for CoreWeave. Let's check it out, Robert. Here's your CoreWeave chart. Nice move here, up 6%. Let's check the news tab and see if we had anything here on CoreWeave. I don't see anything fresh here today. What do we have? No, I don't see anything here. I don't see any news on CoreWeave there.
We are seeing some of these space names do pretty well today. The biggest gainer.
CoreWeave ripping, though. That was a good mention. Sorry, 13.
It's okay. The biggest mover in the space names is Momentus, MNTS. It's up 13.5%. Sidus Space is up 8.5%. And then Lunar, LUNR, Intuitive Machines, that's up over 5.25%.
Okay, so that space theme doing all right.
There was mentions of Velo being down. That thing had a nice run yesterday, so we should see that come back in some more to get some support. This thing had a really nice move out of the actually since December, but we came up to a bit of a resistance area. So yeah, we're coming back in a little bit, but this is still I still think this is going to be a great company with the machines that they have that for 3D printing high quality space components, and now they have a contract with the Army. This is going to be a good long-term, I think.
So let me ask you, when we see a dip like this after a recent run, is this a buyable dip? Maybe we should wait this out, like 16, or does 17 look all right here? I've got the 15 EMA on the daily right at 17.05.
I mean, I do like this area just above $15, like about 15, basically. So that area doesn't look too bad. But
okay, that's also not all that far away.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and jump in front of a falling knife here. Let's see what happens around the 20-day SMA.
And I'm seeing here on CNBC, they are also saying that they're awaiting the Supreme Court opinions. They are also mentioning that the decision on tariffs could come today. Mm-hmm. So I'd reported to you earlier that they had initially projected it to be today, but there was some talk that might change. Looks like that is also what's being reported out there. So we'll see when we get that. And it is a straight up whiteout outside here in Chicago. Can I just take 1 sec to say how thankful I am that I am doing the show here with you and did not have a commute in the old man blizzard snowstorm this morning?
Hey, I know it doesn't mean anything here because I live in Texas, but it's a little bit colder than normal here, so I get you.
BNII, this was a mention from Wiss earlier. Really good move. I tell you what, Wiss, this thing really went from breaking that pre-market high. Probably should have been on this one. This was a little bit better than some of the other movers that we had prepared for here today. BNAI, nice move here today, up 56%. Wow.
Gels, after losing the 200 EMA, the next candle recaptured it. We're still above it for the time being. We'll see if we can get above 115, which is where the price has been struggling to get recapture ever since it dropped out of the gate this morning. So see if that happens. If it does, the next area of resistance is going to be just shy of 120.
Yeah, Zach, you're saying Bloomberg said that Trump can bypass the Supreme Court decision quite easily with other ways. There have been other people in his administration that have been saying that too. Mm-hmm. I still think, though, that the opinion and the decision, when they come out, it's going to impact things. Even if it is just kind of a short-term thing, it's going to be very prudent for us to stay on top of that, without a doubt.
All right, so this one from yesterday, I mentioned AHMA, AMA. This now up over 16%. This is still, pretty illiquid. So if you're going to trade it, be careful. But it's having a pretty good morning here, folks. Better morning than some of these other names that were actually on the movers list.
Better morning than NVIDIA, too. NVIDIA at the lows, down 2.3% here today.
I guess the holders didn't like the news about from the Commerce Department and from China about how certain chips are restricted.
Even Google having a tough day here today. Google's been the one mega cap tech that has outperformed in the face of the downturn here. But even Google down 1.25% here today.
Look at that candle from yesterday. That's a bit of a reversal candle there. So, and this had a really nice run too. Not surprising that we are going to see a little bit of cooling off here. It was getting pretty extended. Looks to me like this should be coming down to probably around 320. I would say that would make a little bit of sense to me to come back in a little bit. How much of a move down is that from here? That is, it's only about 3.25%.
CoreWeave continuing to trade higher here. This is actually looking pretty good. There's a gentleman in our happy hour that has really been making the bull case for CoreWeave down in a 70 handle. He's almost 20 points higher than that entry that he gave out on happy hour. So nice move there for CoreWeave.
Mary would like to see the reversal candle in Google. It's just on a daily chart. It's
here.
candle.
You know what? Did it 13? That was my fault. I actually brought that up, but it was on a much smaller chart. Let me actually bring up the bigger chart here. We can more easily see exactly what you were talking about there.
Okay.
Let's bring up this. Let's bring up Google. I'm going to use GOOG. I don't think it matters because the charts look the same, but I'm just for the example here. I'll use GOOG and I'll zoom in on this. So Sorry, it's lagging 13. I'm doing my best, bro. But here we go. All right, so here's the reversal candle that 13 is talking about. 13, is it the wick? Is it the shape? What is it that's got you worried about that?
Yeah, this is a shooting star candle. When you see these types of candles where it looks like an upside down hammer appear at the top of an uptrend, typically that's a sign of a reversal is coming. So here we are trading lower today. Looks like we have several different areas of support on the way down. We're coming up to one at 330, 325, and I mentioned earlier 320. I do like 320 the best. Then you have the 20-day SMA beneath that. So just looking for a little bit of cooling off here in Google. I think it kind of needed it, but that reversal candle also indicating that there is going to be some more downside coming here, maybe down to 325. I don't know how low it's going to go.
No doubt. We were just talking about CoreWeave looking really impressive. It is moving with the market. Lion here mentioning that the market is tanking. The market did lose that 689, 690 spot that I had talked about. So now that that's broken, let's see where our next spot might be here.
Ooh, AZI popped and then dropped, and it's still trying to hold above 375, but it's looking not great right now.
I'm thinking 686 to 687 might be our next spot there on SPY. We're currently at 688. So AZI was what you were just looking at, huh?
Yeah, that popped and then it came right back down. So if you already had your limit orders out to sell, then you probably got your fill, but that was quick.
Yeah, that was a very quick pop peak above VWAP there and then a pullback. Still seeing more weakness. Goldman Sachs weak, Netflix weak. Netflix back down to 89 on the back of them perhaps moving to an all-cash deal for Warner Brothers and Discovery. Apple is doing its absolute best to hold on to 260 at the moment. And the VIX crept up and tested 18. So we had talked about those different VIX ranges. Looks like 14-ish was the bottom.
Can I ask you why you had Fermi on your screen? I'm just curious.
Someone had asked Tim Melvin if he liked that stock earlier. Tim's response was, no, this never came up on any of my scans, so I didn't look at it. It was a request from the guest. Okay. Excuse me, from the audience.
He'll probably change it. Tim will probably change his mind much later down the road when they've actually got, when this company actually is turning a profit. That's not likely to happen until at least a year from now. This is a massive hyperscale project in I believe it's in northwestern Texas. I believe it's near Lubbock. So and they're just getting it started here. It's going to feature a lot of on-site power generation from natural gas, nuclear. It's going to have massive data centers. It's a massive project, but it doesn't make money yet. And I think one of the concerning things was that there were some investors that were beginning to back out of that. So it's not necessarily putting this in the ground, but it's just delaying that build out. So maybe later on, next year we'll probably look at this again and be like, wow, this is much better. But it's going to be some time before this generates profitable revenue.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Tim likes companies that make money. So if the company's not profitable yet, probably not going to be one of his picks.
Oh my goodness. So AHMA is halted to the upside and they blasted off. This is
Here's
now
AHMA. This is right to the pre-market high area from yesterday.
Jeez. All right. Well, should have probably done something about this since I kept talking about it, but not chasing it now. Looks like we're getting some of these names are coming back up here. Not Clean Spark, that's going down to the 65 EMA. GSIT finally putting a green candle on the screen here. We'll have 25 seconds left before it closes, so we'll see if this is starting to turn around. Beam still kind of sideways, Cooler recovering. It's back above its VWAP. I think there's going to be some resistance around just above $4, between $4 and $4.10, I would say. And
BNAI looks like $6 was the resistance area. Wist, just a really good call on this one. BNAI definitely
nice.
A pretty big mover on volume here today. And then you were also talking about Beam. Now, we had initially talked about that. That is indeed just kind of moving sideways here and doing so beneath the VWAP.
AHMA is unhalted.
Okay, let me bring that up here.
I mean, this thing is still liquid as hell, so just be very, very careful if you're going to trade this. Probably why I didn't touch it, because of the illiquidity, but it's having a good day.
Lion says he wants CVX to go to 170. That's actually not even that far away here. CVX that's only 3 points away from where we're at. What do you got?
I think this eventually will go much higher than that. Much higher. I mean,
a lot of those, just looking at oil here, oil up another 0.5%. It was up, what, 3% yesterday, up another 0.5% here today. All the oil names doing good. At CVX, this is one that we talked about on the whole Venezuela thing. COP was the one that I took via options, looking for 105 here. Nice little pop back to 100 on COP.
But not only that, and we could see some more downside in Chevron before we see that upside that takes us up to 200 and higher. But remember, they are the most favored and highest, I think, bidder for the Lukoil assets that Russian company had to give up because of the sanctions, or they can't do transactions because of the sanctions. So they're selling their assets in the Middle East, Europe, and parts of Asia, and they value their assets at $22 billion. I don't know that they're going to get that because of the sanctions. They may have to take a hit somewhere, but it could if Chevron does acquire it for a discounted price, it could be good for the company. I mean, this is really expanding Chevron's infrastructure if they end up getting this. So I think it really does bear worth watching what happens with that Lukoil asset sale.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. Cooler getting mentioned. That was one of the stocks that we were taking a look at. Let's see what Cooler is doing here. Looks like it's at 4. Yep. Trying to recapture 4.
Yep. Still trying to get to that 410 area. Let's see what's going on with some of these other ones. Looks like we're getting a little rebound here with CLSK. We'll see if it can recapture VWAP. It's struggling with it right now. GSIT do have one green candle following just a whole plethora of red ones to the downside. That took us to 690. Starting to turn back around. Next resistance I see is going to be somewhere between 755 to 760. Beam not looking great. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say BMNR. There, I think it was Jay Harris. So someone was talking about this one this morning. I apologize for getting the name wrong. This actually did trade up here. It looks like this is kind of moving with the Bitcoin move. Just looking at the chart.
Okay.
IDAI up by 2% here today. Nothing really going on there. Really low volume though.
Yeah, how's the volume in the SPY so far?
You know what? That's not. I was basically just looking at the candle move. It does look like it's trying to hold 688. Volume here so far 15.3 million after the open. U.S. existing home sales for December 4.35 million versus the 4.21 million estimate.
Yep.
Existing home sales for December 5.1 versus the 0.7 prior read. Fed's, this is interesting. I didn't see this one until just now. Fed's Paulson says he sees further rate cuts later this year if forecast is met, inflation should be around 2% run rate by the end of the year. Monetary policy is a little restrictive right now, is cautiously optimistic on inflation moving back to target. 2026 seeking greater clarity on what's driving the job market.
The forecasts of these Fed members and their expectations, and I think this is the same with analysts all around the world, they seem to be very far apart on what needs to be done.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
They all seem to be very, very far apart. Remember the conversations we've had about that in happy hour, and how there's a lot of people that could get hurt from that. Be careful with these outlooks, because you have a very wide range now. It's very broad, and that's not what you want out of the Fed and analysts.
We were just talking about some of the oil names here. XOM, we have a pretty significant upside trend line here that started back in 2023. We are through that now. The last time we went through this trend line, we peaked above and came back in. So it's something worth noting. But XOM, pretty good move here. 129. This takes us above the trend line. Nice little break there.
Okay. I'm just really not too enthusiastic.
Yeah, I'm looking around
right
too. I'm with you on that, 13. I'm in the exact same position you're in here.
And you would have thought that some of that housing news would have done well for those mortgage and real estate companies like Rocket, but they're still going down further.
Here's the thing. So here's some more information on that. Mortgage rates above 6% now are more common than the ultra low rates. For the first time, mortgages above 6% is 21.2%, outnumber those below 3%, which is 20%. That comes from Realtor reports. Rates have stayed above 6% since September of 2022, though most homeowners still have rates less than 4%. So it looks like that's evening out here. Did you say cooler?
No, roller.
Excuse me.
It had unhalted and moved above the VWAP. It's still currently holding it, but it's at risk of losing it here if it trades much lower.
WIS, BNAI. WIS says, I want 640. You got it. You actually got more than that. Great job here for all of you that were on BNAI. WIS, that's the call of the day here for one of those movers. Really good stuff. Didn't take this one myself, unfortunately.
Man.
S&P actually does look like it's trying to hold here too, right around 689.
I was just looking at Beam, and it does look like it's trying to come back up to VWAP, but if we don't get the volume that we need to get through all these sellers, I mean, there's just a ton of sellers right now. We need to see higher volume in Beam, or else this is going lower. I think the 65 EMA is probably at risk of being lost if we can't get that volume to come in. Roller now coming back beneath VWAP. Cooler still trying to push higher. It's in that 4 area that I was talking about, between 4 and 410.
Drone stocks under pressure as a whole here today. They've had some pretty good moves, but Arcat, Ondas, UMAC, I think those are all down here. Let's actually check UMAC real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of in traders taking defensive positions.
You know, I still think the waiting out the Supreme Court decision is what we're seeing here. It's just kind of I don't even necessarily want to call that a macro theme, but I guess I should. It sure looks like there's just kind of waiting and see for that.
Yeah, and I got up a little early this morning, and when I was looking at the phone, I saw that there was a lot of indexes that were down pretty significantly, and they were citing the looming decision as the reason. So,
okay,
man, I'm wondering if we, before we had that Powell news.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. MoGraph saying they ruled that there was no ruling here today, and indeed, Supreme Court will not issue decision on tariffs today. Now, here's what's interesting. First, a really good mention there in the chat, by the way. Appreciate that. Taking a quick look here at SPY, look what it's doing. It's bouncing. It's literally bouncing from when that piece of breaking news came out here. 13, I think that pretty much just confirms that the market is waiting for this.
Oh, yeah. And what I was about to mention before we got that news is the whole market yesterday was trading into a descending triangle. We popped on the CPI numbers and we just trickled down the entire day until we got news that Jerome Powell submitted some documentation about the $2.5 billion project that the Fed's working on to the Senate. So that's another thing that's being heavily watched, and I think that's being watched by the international community, whereas the U.S. trading community and investing community is more focused on the tariffs, because it's a very big deal for central banks and other governments around the world when it comes to the Fed's independence. And some of these central banks and countries are even threatening to sell U.S. Treasuries if they lose independence. So that's what's being viewed, watched closely on the international side. Here at home, it's more about the tariffs.
Jeremy here says that's BS. Jeremy, this is why I was very, very careful this morning to say that while it was projected for today, we actually heard yesterday that they might kick this down the road a little. And sure enough, that's what happens here. Tess is saying, I'm reading that the next possible ruling date is Friday. So it looks like that takes tomorrow off the table. But don't get too excited, because tomorrow we have TSM or Taiwan Semiconductor earnings in the morning. And I think that's going to have reverberations for the rest of the market. Yeah. Also, I pulled up the heat map here because Jay had said, let me see if I can find, looks to me like some value names are holding up better. When I look at the heat map here, indeed, it looks like healthcare, consumer staples, and energy are where your pockets of green are. You could throw utilities in there as well. And then going back, the big cap tech, they're the ones that are getting hit here. Even Google, which has been the best performer, getting hit here. And even the safe haven like Apple. And although that's rebounded a little bit here today, still down. So Jay, I would agree with that. It does look like value names, defensive names holding up better here today so far.
Let's see. We're getting a little bit of a recovery here with, we're still getting recovery with the cooler. Go ahead.
Just passing through a Friday ruling just in time for a 3-day weekend. There you go. And now 13, wouldn't you assume that people wouldn't necessarily be loading up on new positions for an extended weekend because of this? Yeah, I'm with you on that too.
So it kind of lines up with what traders and institutes are probably going to already do anyway, which was not hold as many positions as they would into the longer weekend. And that'd be really interesting if we end up getting that decision.
4:30 Friday.
4:30 Friday, yeah.
Like right at the close or right after the close. That's
Hey, C. John, well done.
Carlos, let's go. Let's go. Also, a pretty good mention here. Oops, I got to get my scrolling fixed here real quick. So we had the so H&H Tactical here. The JP Morgan Healthcare Conference is today. A lot of companies are presenting between 4 and 4:30 Pacific. So the aftermarket might be interesting. That's a really good mention here.
That's looking X-ray.
That X-rays today?
Yes, after hours.
Okay.
That's when they present at the JPM healthcare conference. It's one that Zoltan's been on.
Yep.
He brought it to our attention. He said that they, I asked him, or is this going to see that turnaround here at that JPM conference? Well, we got a turnaround from mRNA when they highlighted their financial condition.
Indeed.
So thinking that we could get something very similar with X-ray.
You know what? I'm gonna add a little right here. I'm gonna take a starter here on X-ray. I have wanted to take a look at this. I like Zoltan's thesis on this, and you know what? That catalyst is good enough for me. We'll see if this works here. Adding a little starter position here, 1234, ticker XRAY. Thank you, H&H Tactical. Here are some other tickers: X-ray, OM, OCS, and ELDN.
X-ray getting support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute right now anyway. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I've been kind of waiting this one out. No better time than right now. So starter initiated there on X-ray. I'll add if that goes in a little bit too. Kathy here saying SCOTUS would be smart to wait to issue the opinion until after the close of the markets on Friday. That'll give the long weekend some time to digest that, and then maybe Tuesday will be more palatable.
EVTV trying again says WIS. Oh, yeah, look at this. We had a nice reversal after we sold out of the gate there. Let's recapture the 200 EMA, and it's printing. It's about at where the pre-market highs were, right about 345. Good mention.
Here is your EVTV, maybe through 350, which was a pre-market resistance area.
Yeah, I mean, if this
Marty says they should have made the healthcare conference at 420, maybe
Yeah.
they'll put the cannabis company there at 420 just for the lulls.
Do they have any cannabis companies?
I mean, no. I'm just.
But
I'm
you know,
just
if I totally agree. If they do, they should have.
I mean, that to me
time.
seems like an easy win right there. That is without a doubt a quick win.
All right. Well, what's looking interesting to you? I mean, I'm looking at some of the space names. They're doing okay. Cooler still. So we got up to that 410. Looks like we went slightly higher, up to about 415, running into some resistance. But we haven't backed off completely yet.
COP, we talked about this one. ConocoPhillips, this is in that oil theme here. I actually did see some call buying here. 110 calls for April. This is still flirting with 100. I'm looking for 105. Billy's talking about SanDisk here, and it's been really, really popular stock. Look at this. SanDisk trying to go higher here. Pull back and then another move higher.
Oh, much like that SCOTUS news.
Indeed.
Let's see what Micron's doing. Hey, how about that? It reversed as well.
Yep. That went with the broader market. And now we're holding 689 with that pop higher.
AMA has come back in, hit 1595. It was a fantastic little run it had from 11. But this kind of looks like it's going to be going a little bit further south. We haven't, we did get support from that from VWAP about 15 minutes ago. If it can't get back above, I would say 1475, this is probably going to come back in underneath VWAP. CLSK is trying to push back up to some of the session highs. AMD trending up after news. What news did they have? They had a pretty nice move yesterday. What is that? What was going on, or is there news today as well? TCS and AMD announced strategic collaboration to drive AI adoption at scale. That was really early in the morning. I don't think that's what's causing it to go right now. I think it's all because of the Supreme Court ruling delay. It seems to me like that's what is causing this to go. If there's something else that you're seeing, please post it or let us know.
No, I actually might have a story for this.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find that, because when I was looking through some of the news here today, I did see this.
All right, so Cooler is running into a little bit of resistance here up in that area I just mentioned. So could come back in, maybe testing 4 as support.
Here.
Beam is looking pretty bad. It's losing at 65 EMA. If this goes, I'd say 2 is going to be their next support area underneath the 65 EMA.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that beam never really materialized. It really just couldn't get above that 215, and it looks kind of sad trombone like now. For anyone interested in that AMD piece of news that we just talked about, I just threw our story there in the chat. Covers the whole thing.
Looks like CLSK is doing much better with the recovery here, looking to take out 1345. That 1350 area still has that large seller there, but 1345 is also piled up some sell orders. So you're going to need to see some volume expansion here to get through the next 5-10 cents. Wow, Redwire is having a really good morning now following that SCOTUS news. It had a rebound out of the gate, but that news didn't come until just recently, and it's been putting up green candles ever since. High roller trying to recapture VWAP. Gels went back beneath the 200 EMA. It's currently trying to recapture that as well.
Anil's saying SPY made 100% profit on a 690 SPY call. Looks like you're trading real short term there, but really good stuff. I don't think we did anything for that for you, but good stuff. Nice trade.
Great job. Great job. Oh, look at this one. CETX, Semtrex. This, it's not a massive mover, but having a good day, up 7.3%. Trying to get through 250. There's a bit of resistance there from past trading days. Maybe this is one to keep an eye on. It's having not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. Waiting for CLSK to finally get through that 1350. Wondering if that's going to even happen. Need to see some better volume for it to happen, but that does seem to be the big area to get over right now. Yeah, GB slice. GB slice. Sorry, we did see that that tariff ruling was delayed for a second time. Yeah, and you're right, Tess. These those all go with Bitcoin. Those all go with Bitcoin. So they looked like they were having a heads up ahead of the ruling. That's interesting. What's my thesis on roller? Oh, this is just one of the movers that we were taking a look at here. It was up massively. It's the biggest one that's up today. Got some support down around 1240. It has to recapture VWAP though, or else we're probably going to end up coming in lower. If we do get above VWAP, next resistance is going to be at about 1575, 1580, where we had that last red candle. But this is also very illiquid, so you have to be careful with this one as well. Meanwhile, all these other names that were on the movers list, not doing too much. GSIT, not great.
Yassine asking about app with this being down here today. Oh, nearly 60 points. Asking if there's any news here on app. Let's take a look here. Indeed, Evercore initiates coverage on AppLovin with an outperform and announces an 835 price target. Wow, this is going the wrong direction there. That is an actual upgrade there.
So what does now look like? Because remember, we were talking about software names.
The software names getting destroyed, yeah.
Software names are getting destroyed. There's a lot of rotation out of tech and into some broadening out, some diversification. They're coming out of a lot of these software names. We were looking at now. We were looking at Snow.
We even talked about Microsoft on that theme as well.
We certainly did. So yeah, a lot of software exits to raise capital for some of the more hammered down names that have a lot better upside.
And then Vic asking about FJet. This is one of those newer space plays. I think we talked about this. What was your outlook on FJet again here? This is one of the more recent ones. It had a flashy IPO, and it's really kind of come back to earth since then.
This is the one that kind of does the launches similar to what's that company? It's a ticker SPCE, Virgin Galactic.
Virgin Galactic, yeah.
Yeah, where they basically have an aircraft fly the rocket itself up, and then the rocket stage, the liftoff is like through, from the fuselage of the aircraft itself. I mean, it's probably an interesting way of getting some payloads into space. I don't think they're going to be able to carry very heavy payloads up that way. It doesn't really change my thought on how great Rocket Lab and SpaceX are going to be. But this, I don't even know if they've how far away they are from doing those launches. For the time being, they're doing testing. They've got partnerships with GE Aerospace to do some testing on some of their, I guess, test programs. But other than that, I don't know when we're gonna start seeing some NASA launches that are launched from the supersonic aircraft.
Vic asking for some levels here. I got to think 9 is going to be pretty important. It sure looks like it's going to roll over towards that number there. It'd be interesting to see if 9 holds there, Vic.
Let's see.
And 13, we got a wrap here too.
Yeah.
Once you give this.
Yeah. So I mean, I think maybe 9 or 10 could be support area. It's certainly looking like it's going to go down to those. I don't know that they're going to even hold up. This isn't one that I'm particularly interested in right now. The company is, what are they doing as far as cash flow? So they don't have revenue yet, and they're losing money. So this will probably be better later on. But for now, it's a really new issue. I think that we just kind of need to wait on this one. But that's up to you.
Okay, well, let's do a really quick wrap up here before we go to the story trading, folks. The first one on our list here was, in fact, Roller. This is from the pre-market. This was moving on the binding letter of intent with Crypto.com to launch an event-based prediction market product. The impulse move seems to have done it. It seems pretty weak here. You got any closing thoughts on Roller here? I guess maybe if it holds this VWAP.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably above your VWAP. It's just beneath mine. I'm trying to recapture VWAP right now. If it does, you have a supply zone, from about 15 to 17. That's going to have to work its way through. Going to need to see some bigger volume. It has cooled off a little bit, but the momentum hasn't begun to swing the other direction yet. So until that does, it's not looking like this is going to break out soon until we get that big amount of volume to come in and take out some of these levels.
Okay, GELS, this was another one on our movers list. Really disappointing. Really didn't do a whole lot. It is holding the 200 EMA here, but not really doing much anything.
Yeah, even if this does come back up, which it's kind of the similar situation as the last one we just looked at, MACD is starting to curl back up. So momentum's beginning to swing to the upside, but volume's not great. So I don't know how high it's going to go, even if we do recapture the 200 EMA. I'm still looking at about 115 to 120 as potential areas of resistance. That's basically where the lows of the pre-market are, and all the way up to where I currently have VWAP in the 65 EMA. So that range there, again, going to see some big volume to get through all that.
And then the last one here, this is Beam, right? This also had a nice little impulse move in the back of the increase in Q4 revenue results, but really couldn't get back above its VWAP, doing its best to hold to. We'll see if it's able to do that.
Yeah, this is still struggling to hold on to its 65 EMA. If we get multiple closes underneath that, then this could also come down to its 200. But if it manages to reverse, again, VWAP and volume, two things we need to see.
Indeed. All right. 13, any closing words for the group before we go over story trading?
Well, folks, just be careful with the price action today. We're getting a lot of news about, hey, the SCOTUS is coming out with a ruling, and then they delay it. So stay nimble. Make sure you got yourself protected with your stops. And try not to force anything today. It seems like this is a little bit of a screwy market that we're in right now. So just be careful is all I would want to tell y'all.
All right. Good stuff, 13. We'll see you on Happy Hour, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. 13's departure leaves room for the story trading folks who, remember, they're on for an hour now. Let's go ahead and bring on Ben and Rhett. How you folks doing? Am I also bringing on the laptop trader?
Yeah, you should be.
Let's do it. How's everyone doing today?
Amazing. Doing good. There's a lot of big stories we're following, and we've handled it pretty good so far today. We got the tariffs ruling, SCOTUS not happening, not happening. We got war with Iran, or attack on Iran happening, not happening. And then we have Bitcoin breakout, major Bitcoin breakout. So those are three major stories I'm looking at.
Amazing. That should give us stuff to trade. Go ahead and share your charts. We'll throw that on the screen, and I'll get out of your hair for you.
Okay, great. So one second. I got to take care of a quick trade for... Oh, where's my chart? It's not showing yet. Oh, you want me to share my screen, right? Here we go.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
That's okay. And look, I think everyone understands when you're mid-trade, sometimes priorities, Ben. That's just how it works. All right. I'll get out of here. We'll see you next time. Good stuff, guys.
All right. Yep. Take care. Thanks. All right, here we go. The Qs. Wow, we had such a great trade. I know Rhett and I don't know if you followed me, laptop, and a lot of people in our community got hedges, QQQ puts into, we bought them yesterday because of the potential SCOTUS ruling and because of potential attack on Iran. Those two things, we made a very nice amount of money on those Q puts today. Covered them completely near the lows, to be honest with you, pretty much there. I had a few lingering ones that I closed once it became clear the SCOTUS decision was not happening today. So we navigated that pretty well. You can see that hit the target. I had the 20 DMA, maybe a further move to the 50 DMA possible. But at this point, I think most of the pressure is maybe off the market for today. We'll hear from Laptop in a second what he thinks on that. Actually, let's do that now. So what do you think there, Laptop? The Qs, are we out of the woods for today? Or was the market just looking for any excuse to send this to the 50 DMA anyway?
No, I don't think the market was looking for an excuse. And I think we're out of the woods for today. It just is a moment everyone held their breath. A lot of things sold off early.
Yeah.
I know the people that played puts made really good on the Qs there. And then crypto was, kind of the one point of optimism there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm stop there or keep going.
Yeah, no, that's good. You're cutting that a little bit, but that sounds good. Rhett, you got any thoughts on the Qs from a technical point of view here? You think the bottom's in for the day after that SCOTUS non-ruling?
I mean, look, we saw it gap up, especially when there was, they said there was no ruling today on the tariffs, and now we're starting to fade again. I'd like to see what we're going to do near these lows right before they were supposed to announce the tariff ruling. If we get near there and break back below that, I mean, like you said, 615 is not going to be out of the picture for today if that does occur. But I would like to see it. I think we could see it probably a bounce coming up in the next couple of minutes for the Qs, as long as we hold these lows that made on the day.
Yeah, the 50 DMA being 615.86. I got to be honest, I'm pulling out looking at this chart. And to me, I don't know. These candles here on November, these red candles, November 20th, December 17th, January 2nd, and now today, it feels like it's heavy, man. It feels like the market wants to correct, but it may not happen unless it gets a fundamental catalyst, that causes that to happen. And that could be, hey, you got to refund a couple $100 billion of tariffs. It could be, if they attack Iran and it gets messy. I don't know. I've been in yellow alert for a few days, and I'm staying in my yellow alert position. Okay. USO, we killed this overnight, right? You were with me on this one too, right? We sold right at the open, made some good money on that. That was a hedge in case they attacked Iran overnight. Didn't happen. If they did, it would have been much higher. But maybe I'm going to pick some up again towards the end of the day today for that possibility tomorrow morning. But I like your analysis, Laptop, on the timing of an Iran strike. I know it doesn't impact trading too much, but why don't you talk about your thoughts on when we can see that Iran strike?
So, the markets are closed on Monday. It's a 3-day weekend. And if you're a president who really cares about
Oh, he cut out.
I think we lost him.
There's rubber banding here. Did we completely lose him?
I think we did.
All right. So anyway, is 3-day weekend, and if you do Friday after the close, it doesn't impact markets. Yada yada. It has something to do with that. Plus the fact that for whatever reason, historically, a lot of these actions seem to happen on Friday evenings. What is this blue line here? Why does it show up over there? That's weird. Okay, on the daily, it's in the right position. Anyway, that's the line I drew there for USO. So we could see that happen. If they do strike Iran, you could see that initial down reaction in the market, initial up reaction in oil, but I don't think it will last. And I always say, buy war. Okay, it's always it always ends up being a buying opportunity, particularly in this case, particularly if they're successful in regime change in Iran. That's going to be a real positive for the U.S. economy if Iran becomes an ally rather than a foe. Lots of business for multinationals and infrastructure companies, all kinds of things that can benefit U.S. companies if there's a regime change over there. So yeah, all in all, looking for a possible quick reflexive move down if that happens, and a move up in oil, and then just to be totally reversed on both of those moves. And I guess that's what Laptop was getting to. He Trump maybe wants to avoid that volatility in the markets by doing this Friday night. So that's a possibility to look out for. That being said, everything's very unpredictable with this stuff, and it's always possible anything happens at any time. Certainly, the signs are that something significant is going to happen militarily. I believe the signs point to that in Iran, as we see
I guess
Bitcoin pulling back.
laptop is in the back studio again.
So we'll have to wait for a producer to find them there and put them on. Okay, so let me point out there was a third big story I wanted to cover, Bitcoin. Right.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin, you know what, Rhett? No, I wanted to hold on a second here. I'm like angling to get back in SOC. This chart is so good. Before we talk about Bitcoin, let me just jump around a little bit. I put out SOC as a swing trade a few days ago in the morning note. I didn't really stick with talking about it every day, but I've been watching it every day. This daily chart is absolutely incredible after a series of really, really positive catalysts. I mean, what's there not to like about this chart, Rhett? I'll let you talk about this daily chart on SOC.
Yeah, so I mean, the daily chart's looking extremely well. I mean, if you look at it, you had a nice bounce off the 20, and it just keeps riding up here. And you still have a decent amount of room with the RSI for it to shoot up. But I mean, if you look, not there, I think it was the weekly chart looks even better.
The daily's great. No, I like the daily better than
daily is better, but I mean, you can see a clear target of 1206. It's going to tap that the 20-day moving average on the weekly chart,
or just re-challenge the high of 1230. Yeah, it's this is just beautiful because it's riding. I mean, look at it. It's just picture perfect. It broke the 20. It's never lost it since. It broke the 50. Never lost it since. Now holding the 20. High looks like higher lows almost every day over here on this recent runoff of the 20. You have a bullish 2050 cross, and the best part, we caught this really early in probably extended hours at like $6-7 in the middle of this gap. The story trading way, we always start with the catalyst and we predict the technical move. So we've been following this story for a long time, and there's been a series of really good catalysts on SOC in terms of deregulation that can help them drill off the coast of California again. So all of that moving in the right direction, and that's what's been driving this turn into the positive technicals. So all of that's looking great. I
just added to Bitcoin really quick. I just added to my MSTR calls that I picked up. I'm down on them slightly, but I just added bounced off the 20-day moving average on the 5-minute.
Yeah, let's get to Bitcoin, but I can't wait to get to quick. Okay. Bitcoin had a major breakout yesterday over 94,500. This is just textbook technicals here. I don't know. Actually, the high was 94,800. I don't know why I said 94,500. So maybe it was 90. In fact, that's where it bounced overnight. It was 94,500, 94,600. All right, whatever. Call it 94,500. So 94,500. That was a big resistance area. Oh, laptop, welcome back. I give them your thesis on Iran. So we ran through the timing of that. So 94,500 now support. And it tested it twice overnight and it held. And I don't know. I think once you're in here, the next target's a psychological level of 99, close to 100,000. Technically, there's a bunch of resistance at 99,000. So I would just say 99,000, I think, is the next target on Bitcoin. The top pick of the day in our community was BMNR Galaxy MicroStrategy, obviously the go-to names for Bitcoin. I just regret not swinging Bitcoin MicroStrategy calls. I was looking at them yesterday, almost pulled the trigger. I don't know why I didn't. I just decided to go with common shares of Galaxy and BMNR. I've been trading since yesterday during the day and the afternoon and today, and it's been working out nicely. So any further thoughts on that Bitcoin chart and how to play? By the way, look at these crypto names are now just breaking out of major moving averages. BMNR, Galaxy, MicroStrategy, just also, wow, all of these just breaking above the 50, all three of these. So this could be the beginning of a big move in these three names. Rhett, over to you.
No, definitely, I agree. I mean, especially if you look at the Bitcoin chart on the daily, like we all were talking about in the morning show. I mean, I was waiting for a clear hold above that level around like the 94,500, and we got that on the daily. It'll open above that, so I think that's great, and the chart's still looking nice to set up. I think we may probably see a little consolidation and then a run up just because the RSI is starting to get a little overbought up here. But other than that, I think this is great for continuation and maybe a chance to get back to the 100K mark once we clear this little bit of resistance that's we're about to be testing right up here around 96.
So laptop, how do we play this from a short-term perspective? Because we made some money on it this morning, so I'm like, I kind of hesitate after I had some nice wins and scalps here with BMNR and Galaxy today. Even though I have that analysis on the daily, when I'm looking at the 1-minute chart, I'm like, I don't know, is a top in for the day on Bitcoin? So I'm not sure how to play this from here. Do we get a swing position? Or try another intraday trade here on one of these three names, or all of them, or two of them? What are your thoughts on how to play it from here?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First off is we didn't get the decision from SCOTUS. We didn't attack Iran last night. We're probably not going to attack Iran if you follow my train of thought. Tonight we're going to wait for the 3-day weekend for least impact on the stock. So I think that crypto you've got a green light for the next
2 days,
40 hours, 42
Okay.
hours.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that we're going to continue to see an optimistic trend on crypto. And actually, here I really like Ethereum a little bit better, just a little
So
bit.
BMNR, you like
I
BMNR?
like
here?
BMNR. Yep.
BMNR today above. This is going to catch a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Breaking above the 50 and the 200 today. Okay, you know what? I'll play.
I pull calls on BMNR at about, I don't know, 9:45 or so.
Yeah, that was great.
AM, I mean. And yeah, so but I definitely would be again in a defensive posture by the close of tomorrow's market.
Yeah. Close of tomorrow's market. Yeah, you think that the market will probably be anticipating what you're anticipating then Friday. You could see.
Yeah, Friday. Well, two things. So we mentioned this on our live show earlier that the Supreme Court, if they rule, their next opportunity to issue an opinion would be Friday. When would be the next? They would not do that today. They will not do that tomorrow because of their own calendar and they're listening to arguments. So that's one thing. And then, of course, the Iran issue.
Q's just hit a new low, though. So a little discussion here about out of the woods for today. I don't know. We may have to look at that again. Just looking at the technical picture on the Q's, it looks like at this point we can hit 615.83 today, guys.
Yeah, it's not looking.
I know from a catalyst point of view, it seems like we have the all clear for a day or two, but the technicals, I don't know. Laptop, you want to revise your prediction on the Q's? 615.83 could come today, maybe.
Yeah, I don't see what news would prompt that at this point right now. Maybe the only thing I see is the bank's a little bit earnings report. I think that my largest position is in silver. My second one's in gold.
Oh wow, good for you. Your largest position is silver? I didn't even know that. Holy crap, you're killing it this year. My gosh, look at that.
And maybe I should say my second largest is cash.
Wow. That is something that you held silver through all this. Good for you. That's called conviction. I just had some scalps here and there on silver.
Well, I think we're going to see spot silver at $100 very soon.
At this point,
I think we're going to see gold at 4,800 very soon before this is all over. And I think the market's going to have a correction at some point, and that's what I'm sitting each day waiting for that. So that
silver is already at 90. Well, I was looking at SLV, but if you look at silver futures, we're pretty much 92. Yeah. So 100 can happen overnight at this point. Wow, crazy.
It could happen over the weekend.
Yeah. Q's really diving, and I'm all out of all the Q puts. Rhett, are you also out of all the Q puts?
Yeah, I'm all out.
I'm all out as well.
1650. 615.82. There's your 50 DMA which is a magnet right now. 615.82. And I'm out of the puts. Seeing if there's anything else I need to protect here that moves. Oh shit! I bought MU earlier after the non-SCOTUS decision. Oh my gosh, I've been so bad at trading MU intraday lately. I guess I was up on it for a bit and I wasn't paying attention. I'm down on it. In any case, this is my number one pick for the year.
There it is.
Yeah, doing well in a long-term account, but lately, it's been hard, difficult chop for me to.
Oh,
Ooh, that is
Q's
really pushing hard.
Q's really.
61619.
Oh, can you imagine if we kept our puts right?
I'm looking at it. It's
Shit. I gotta protect my capital.
let's
Puts-
see.
Man, how many times in
An
every
average of
single day?
500 to 600.
Hold on.
Wow.
I gotta sell a few things here. In a second. All right. Wow, it's getting to that 50 DMA. Can you believe it? Wow, dude, we were up so much on those Q puts. If they probably would have doubled again if we kept them.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm trying to think. I was gonna say, I guess we're not out of the woods today.
No,
No, yeah.
I thought we were gonna see a little bounce, but clearly not.
I mean, we did see a little bounce, but that's all it was. It was a short bounce after the SCOTUS non-decision.
All right, I sold those.
And now I'm stuck here in a couple things I
Wow.
want to sell.
Yeah, they're the 620
sold
to now
the,
617.
Am I all out Galaxy? I forgot. Hold on. Let me see. Galaxy. Yeah, okay, I'm out Galaxy. Whoa, look at that. It tagged it. It hit the 50 DMA, 615.81.
Yep.
It hit 615.93, close enough. That might be it for the day. Although it has not adhered well to the 50 DMA. So I don't know. Look, it's been very choppy. It hasn't really meant much. Let me try a different chart. Let me try the weekly. The weekly's been more reliable. The 20-week moving average has been a more reliable trend line here, which is all the way down at 607.51. The daily has meant pretty much nothing, guys. Look at this. Violations left and right, crisscrossing it has not been a reliable indicator. So I don't know, other than a short-term intraday bounce, I don't think it really necessarily means anything here today.
Yeah, the only thing it's respected is the weekly.
Yeah. Yeah, 20-week riding that up nicely. Wow.
So I'm looking at the chat now. We have a few questions.
Okay.
They want a long-term analysis on SOUN.
Well, I'm not going to give you a long-term analysis because I haven't done it, but just peripherally, I think, for long-term, this is a good time. Did we go over the 2026 picks of the year? If you want SOUN, I would go this. Let me pull up the our 2026 picks for the year, or at least my 2026 picks. Let's see. 1 second. There's a lot of higher quality companies than SOUN if you want like something in AI. So no, it's not pick of the year submissions. It's, where is it? 2026 long-term ideas? No. Story Trading's 2026 hot sector top picks. Okay, here we go. All right, if you want AI, I would not bother with SOUN. So this is a list I put out on Christmas Day. 31 stocks, up an average of 17.5%. This data is 20 minutes delayed. You can see the 5 sectors: AI infrastructure, drone and defense. Maybe I should just call it defense tech. Space up 29%. AI software. Oh, why is this green? Format, conditional formatting, value is less than 0. Make that red. There we go. Okay, much better. Okay, so although it's not the same red as that, should be. So anyway, was that? That's better, but not quite. Let's try this one. There we go. All right. So minus 2.5%. So AI software not doing great. These other trendy themes doing great. So if you want AI instead of SOUN, I mean, look, my number one pick of the year is MU, up 17%. Look at these names: NBIS, Cypher, EOSE. What else do we have in AI down here? AI has not done that great. Reddit, wow. Reddit up 9%. Yeah, the outperformers have really been in, well, the AI data centers have done great. AI data centers, battery, and drone defense tech and space has been where all the money's going. Look at these moves, these picks I gave you at the beginning of the year: 50%, 50%, 46%, 60%. So that's my answer to SOUN. What's my long-term analysis? Pick a better company. That's my long-term analysis. Unless unless you have some thoughts on that. That's my
No,
thoughts.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I was reading the comment here. It talked about me being strong on gold and silver. And I tell you right now, I'm not letting go of gold till it hits 5,100, and it'll
Wow.
be there.
Nice. Nice. I got gold in my retirement account, but I missed the whole silver thing.
And I definitely love leveraged ETFs.
Um, Man, Bull has been super disappointing. It
Yeah,
keeps teasing us with this 20 DMA.
with Kodak as its cousin.
Yeah, I don't really care about Kodak now, though. I'll get back into Kodak on the next significant catalyst. But this has been super disappointing. I did not expect this. I thought we would have already tagged the 50 DMA here by mid-January.
Yeah,
So this is
I
one
think
of
we
my
talked about
larger.
this the other day, and I think that
Yeah.
one of the things that had come out was that this push by Webull to try and get higher, profit, was based on selling this premium product, which is I think called Webull Premium.
Did he
And
send me the article? Because I didn't see that anywhere.
okay, I will.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going by the last earnings report, which was like
Yeah,
a major inflection point earnings report. And, Godfather also did an analysis on this, and him and I were on the same page in terms of them now growing even faster than Robinhood and taking market share and inflecting to profitability. And, if you were to give it the same valuation metrics as Robinhood, which you can't, you got to discount a little bit because it's China. But if you were, it would be like $20 or something. Like that. Those are all the reasons why they're really bullish Webull in 2026. It's not in this list you're looking at here because
well, I'm
this list,
bullish. I'm bullish because of their expansion plans in Europe.
yeah, that's one of the reasons they're growing. But it's not in this list because this list was specifically for hot sectors, and then Webull's like an individual stock that has nothing to do with not related to hot sector. So that's why you won't find it on that list. By the way, that link, you can find that link, and we posted it in various times in on our X account. If you want to look for that, that's a public document here that you can track. But we don't change it. We do give out alerts in our Discord when we make changes. And one of the changes I did was I reduced Katos. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Katos. It was where's the space stock? SkyT. I reduced SkyT and rolled half of it into AEHR after a really nice earnings report. But you're not going to get those updates in the spreadsheet. That's just a fixed, top 30 picks I chose on Christmas, so you can kind of look how it does by the end of the year. I look at CLSK curling towards high of day and SOC as well. Looks like I exited CLSK prematurely after that news this morning of acquiring a lot of energy assets to help them get an AI data center deal. This one's been underperforming over the 50 DMA today. To be honest, that daily chart looks good. I may have had a premature exit. Made a lot less money than I wanted to on this one today. I may have to take a quick scalp win on. I've been trading SOC rather than like holding it, especially with the market the way it is. If I can get scalp wins, I've been doing it, and then I look for reentries. So, oh my gosh,
Forever 21 comment there. It was Kodak, the photo company before. That's Kilo Oscar Delta Kilo, not Kodiak.
yeah, Kodak is actually one of my biggest winners of 2026, of 2025. Just played all of these catalysts just perfectly throughout the year. And I'm not ready to re-enter yet, waiting for the next catalyst. That's fundamentally a really good price. Technicals probably oversold. But I just, this is not like a trendy sector. They can just like buy all the dips. This is one that needs catalysts. So the next positive catalyst can kind of unlock and that fundamental value, and we'll watch for that. But I'm not in it now. I might have some in my retirement account, but not in the trading account. Man, I really left CLSK early, didn't I? What happened to the Qs? 615.75. So it went back and went a few cents lower even since our last checkup on this. A few cents below the 50, and of course that 50, as we said, doesn't really mean anything. Okay. Wow. Imagine if we kept those puts. All right. Anyway, I did well on them today. All right. I do want to bring up a couple other items here. Quick. Okay, Quick's the next one. So we nailed this on Quick. We're in this early, and we're patiently waiting. I probably gave it to the community at like 650 or 660, something like that, with an $8 target, and we got it right. We got the $8 target. However, today, and I think I went through the thesis. I don't want to do it again. Let's just say in short, this is a space stock, but no one knows this is a space stock. It deserves to be on your space list, okay? Because they sell radiation hardened chips for the space applications, and they do that in partnership with SkyT. And actually, Quick is the lead on this project, not SkyT, on one of these big projects that they have big government contracts with. So there's like an $88 million contract ceiling on with the U.S. government on these radiation chips. And today, they announced that they started getting orders underneath as part of that 88 million. They didn't quantify how much of that 88 million came in, but also I forgot to tell you they raised it to 88 million. I don't know what it was before. Maybe it was in the 60s or something, and they raised it to 88 million recently, and now they got official orders. So I had to buy back higher, guys. I just did, like maybe in 40. When I put it in the Discord, I'm like, I bought back some at 8 because if you look at the weekly chart, you see that weekly 200 DMA 803, but also you can see it on the weekly 792 was candle resistance. You can also see that on the daily. So this 8 is a big resistance area, and it's definitely riskier buying it here than at 8 than when we originally got in at 650. But given what all the space stocks have done, and I showed that to you earlier here, okay, look at this, and specifically SkyT, which is up 60%. And like I said, they're closely working with SkyT and actually leading on this project, this particular project for these radiation hardened chips that are used for satellites and other space applications. So in any case, I'm thinking it's worth it to keep a swing here. Like we've patiently swung from 650 to 8. And again, now that it appears that we're breaking this level, if this gets in the hand of, all those influencers on FinTwit who pump, we're not one of them. We don't do that at all. You can see how I operate and the stuff we post on X. We give you like 20 different ideas. We give you like 10 different ideas a day. And like part of the reason we do that is because I don't want to pump. I don't want to concentrate our entire community on just one pick, all right, or just one or two picks. I just don't find that. First of all, that's not the right way to invest or trade. I have a well-diversified portfolio, both in the short term and long term. We give you the stocks, I give you the risk reward, I tell you the thesis, and then I walk away, right? I'm not sitting there pumping it like everyone else does on social media. However, I'll recognize that that's what's happening on social media. I'll recognize that space sector is really hot. I'll recognize that other social media personalities are grabbing onto space stocks, and then they're going to tweet about it 10, 15 times a day. All right. So Quick is in that category of a stock that can be found by those folks, and they could, the volume hasn't really come in yet. This is just accumulation over here. All right. The volume has not hit this yet. The euphoria has not come into this. So there's a chance this gets found by social media and they just like pump this thing towards $10. So now that we're breaking above this 792 resistance, trying to break above the 200-week moving average, I've actually stepped back in, and I think I'm going to feel comfortable swinging this, especially with the catalyst this morning. I feel comfortable holding this to see if we can take it to the next level towards $10. Laptop, any thoughts on that? I know you've been following this one a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm in this one, and the average volume is 170, a little under 175,000 a day, 15 million float. today we're only doing 140,000. So anything, just a strong breeze will send this thing launching literally.
Yeah, I mean, it
So,
could go up $1.50 in a matter of a couple hours.
yep,
So
absolutely.
we played 750 calls on this. I made good money, but I'm all out. Wait, where are the 750 calls? Oh, maybe there's what? I don't get it now. Was it the $7 calls we played? It
For
must have been
quick,
yeah.
I think it was a 7.
It must have been the 7. So we already made good money on the 7s, but I'm no longer in the call options now, just in the common. Anyway, that's quick. Oil is catching my eye here.
Yeah, a year ago, quick was at almost 1350. So
Yeah, look at that.
and the story's more compelling.
Yeah, this chart looks really beautiful. I can definitely get caught up in the space names. What's going on with UEC? UEC uranium. Let me put my uranium watch list. Nuclear. Okay, no, it's specific to you. No, U is up. Nuclear is up a little bit. Okay, it's not a broad sector-wide thing. Well, uranium, the URA ETF is up. Maybe UEC has something to do with that. That's an $8 billion market cap. So, this whole nuclear is going to continue being hot all year, I think. I had a couple nuclear names. Did I? No, no, I actually didn't. I did not have nuclear names for 2026. For energy, I had CEG, TE, EOSE, and solar, FSLR were the energy names I had for 2020. I probably should have thrown. It's just nuclear is so far away from monetizing, unless maybe you're selling uranium, like CCJ. How's CCJ done this year? Yeah. Wow, CCJ has been great this year. Yeah, so
Yeah, I like Denison Mines in that group.
yeah. I don't know, like how close are they to monetization? I don't know. Do you know? This is a uranium miner. It's not like a SMR, right? Like a small modular
Oh yeah,
reactor.
no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they close? Are they monetizing yet? I don't think they are, right?
Yeah, they're profitable.
DNN's profitable?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to research this again. I thought they were still in the early, regulation and exploration.
And then they just
Wow, I didn't know that.
something about I just oh yeah, they're opening up their uranium
No, I'm
recovery
seeing this.
site
Q3,
in
November 6th. Hold on.
Phoenix.
November 6th, it says no uranium sales for Q3 2025, unless it's in their guidance for Q4.
I'm looking at their financial statement, and
it says in the third quarter, 2,000 tons of high-grade ore were extracted, and over 85,000 pounds of U3O8 were produced at the mill, with an initial average operating cost of approximately $19. So they extracted it, but they didn't sell it. I don't get it. $27 million in capital expenditures, with an additional $44 million committed. So they extracted all this uranium, but how do they have no revenue? Unless this is a typo, I don't know. So they're at least extracting uranium. That's good. That's further along than I thought. So I'll have to look at this again. Cool. Thanks for letting me know that. Let me put that at the top of the list. Maybe I'll research that one later. Okay, let's go back to our list check-in, see how things are doing here. Wow, Qs look really weak, don't they? Wow. Can you imagine, though, if today the decision came out and they're like, you're going to have a couple $100 billion in refunds. The Qs might be at like $600 right now. And we might be down 3% right now. So I guess this is better.
Yeah, that could have been bad.
yeah,
Well, no, it would have been good because we were in puts. I didn't close out my final puts until after they said no decision today. Still had a few of them. Look at Nike. Man, we had this at the top of our list. And why didn't we learn from Friday to short this right away as soon as they said no decision today? I mean, it was up here at 66.70. There was plenty of time to react. And we knew what to do. I don't know. I was just too busy chasing longs. I thought the market was going to rebound. Yeah. So that was a missed opportunity there. Oops, GSIT
And-
turned into a loser today.
And you talked about space. Do you have EchoStar in your spreadsheet there for your picks?
No, I've never researched EchoStar. What's it?
Well, you
what's
know they own this huge spectrum, and they're selling it for
SATs, SATS. Yeah, it's done so well ever since SpaceX. They also own shares of SpaceX. No.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason. It's probably taken off since that was announced. I totally missed this opportunity. Look at this. Where was I? 75 to 130 since that was announced that the SpaceX trying to IPO this year.
There goes
It's doubled
MSTR.
since December 4th.
MSTR is going up or down, right?
Up.
With Bitcoin?
Bitcoin making new highs, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I may have to re-enter something here then. Oh, I think I got back in BM&R. Hold on, let me double check. Okay, yeah, I'm in BM&R. All right, I have nice size in BM&R actually.
I just sold a couple.
Galaxy. I'm a little light on. I'm gonna re-enter Galaxy. Here.
Yeah, there we go. BM&R. That's a nice move.
Well, you were in MSTR call options there.
Yeah, MSTR calls. Yep.
Oh wow, good for you. I did not catch that there. Wow. Okay, I guess we're going to that 99,000 at this point. You're too close not to test that psychological level. So I just stepped back into Galaxy. I'm already in BM&R. I assume the ETH chart's doing the same thing as Bitcoin. Let's check the ETH. Yep, pretty much. Look at it. It's like identical. You just need to look at one of the charts. CLSK also been reacting to that, I noticed today. Has not been all about the energy they bought. It's a lot of this has to do with Bitcoin today. Wow. What am I looking at? Oh, CLSK, man, I sold that early at CLSK. Let's see what else. Wow. Cool. I don't have any call options, man. Just in Galaxy and BM&R Common.
Yeah, BM&R call options would have been good.
I briefly got in them, and then I don't know. And I got out.
I'm pretty sure I said I was buying the calls.
I got in. I got the BM at the 34 weeklies. Yeah. I did get in them, but I didn't stick with it. And I decided to do common. I don't know. I'm just being a wussy today. I'm just too nervous about the market. I don't know. All right, let's see what else we got going on here.
Yeah, but you got a free pass. You got a hall pass for 42 hours, 46 hours.
I mean, that's what we thought, but queues keep crashing.
I want to get it. I want to see it get above this 616.75 area and hold for a continuation. Well, to get back to the upside.
Holy breath has been
just
really
like a little
to the end of the day.
Just like for intraday trade to make a little pop here. You see what I'm talking about? Laptop.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not.
Wow, relative strength in TE. Sorry, what were you guys talking about? I was looking at other stuff.
Getting back in the queues for the end of the day play.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not.
It looks a little sloppy on the bottom here.
No, we still have the risk event of You're saying we have 2 days. I get it, but I don't know. I'm not gonna play Q calls. Oh, Galaxy, nice. Hold on, let's see that re-entry on Galaxy. Cool.
Well, you know, if you look at those red candles that you went and talked about before on the Qs, right? After these big red candles, she always bounces back.
Yeah, no, that's true. But at some point, is it going to break at some point?
Yeah, but I think you're going to follow that with a green candle tomorrow.
I just got filled on the rest of my.
Yeah, that's a good point. Every day after those big red candles, green, 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 green. That's a good point.
Oh, I didn't get any all out.
I don't know. I'm just nervous because I know I get your logic about Friday night for the strike on Iran, but what if it is tonight? You never know. And then you're going to wake up to further gap down in the Qs. It'll quickly be bought up, by the way. I think you buy the crap out of that if that happens. But you can gap down a couple percent if they strike tonight. And I agree with you. At this point, Friday night looks more possible, but you still never know.
Which is, I believe, is 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. Iran's on a weird schedule. They have a 30-minute time zone as opposed to an hour time zone compared to Greenwich Mean Time or UTC. It's kind of odd. Yeah, so if we did anything, it's what I'm saying, it would be like 7:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. New York time.
Yeah.
Clean spark high day. Saying, you see this?
What's high day?
Clean spark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it. I was in a big position pre-market, and then I bailed. I made money on it, but very little. I had a big size too. I had a chance to be up nicely if I held through this volatility.
You know what I'm down on again today is bull.
Bill's just been a nightmare.
That's one that I have not been able to play well at all.
Yeah, I mean, how can he play this well? This is pretty rough. I got tricked a few times here intraday, thinking it's gonna close above the 20 DMA, and it failed both on January 12th, January 9th. 9th and 12th it failed. It peaked above it on January 6th and January 13th. I played this so many times because if you do close above the 20, you're running right to the 50, which is significant, right? You're talking about another 50 cents. So it's just been too compelling for me. I keep playing it. I keep failing. But I have a big position in July or August call options on this one. So hopefully this turns around this year.
Yeah, this is still a pretty decent size allocation in my retirement account.
Oh, I bought a lot in my retirement account.
Here we go with the Qs again. They're testing this. They're trying to get over this level here. If we can get above it and hold, I think we may run. Yeah, Jay Rice is right. Usually moves with Bitcoin. You are right, Jay Rice, but sadly today it's not.
What usually moves with Bitcoin?
Bull.
Usually Hood moves with Bitcoin, but even Hood is, last I checked, was down pretty.
Yeah,
down 1.5%. I mean, the Hood correlation is usually stronger than the Bitcoin correlation. Actually, it's interesting. Than the Bull correlation. So Bull was holding up better than Robinhood today on that. Which is interesting.
Do you feel like Bull might be down a little bit because of the new what was it, the high roller tech today doing this event betting, because Webull was experimenting with that and now it's.
I mean, have you ever heard of this company?
High roller?
Yeah. You have?
Not as of today. Today's the first day.
I mean,
no, I have. I've been watching it. We've been with this on the other show for I don't know 6 months. Watching it.
I didn't know that. Cool. I mean, I don't think there's any competitive pressure. You think?
It came out of nowhere. Just now, it's made this deal with Crypto.com.
I mean, they're making so much money right now, both Webull and Robinhood. I would say it's past the experimental stage. It's a big money maker for both Robinhood and Webull, and they're growing really quickly with it.
Sure.
So is this? You're looking at this and saying it's competition? I don't think so. I mean, again, people are trading stocks. Who? I think all this increases the TAM. I don't think this is like market share thing or one's taken away from the other. The more places you offer it, the more people are going to do it. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Just the pie's just getting bigger and bigger as all these different platforms offer it.
I tell you what made a nice move was AMD after there was no ruling coming out for the tariffs today. That
Yeah, I
really
heard.
giddied up. It went from like 215 ish all the way to 223.91.
Oh, my
Yeah.
my daughter will rub that into me.
Yeah, I own
Yeah,
this.
did she play it?
She is every day for the last since the beginning of the year. Actually, before Christmas, AMD it's going to 400 all the time, every day. College
Wow,
money.
these queues look terrible. I have AMD. I switched from Nvidia to AMD. I don't know, must have been 3 quarters ago when there was all this chatter at some AMD event about inference and how inference is going to be more important, and AMD is better suited, for these inference chips. Silver up 52-week high, up 6%. SLV
Yeah.
to 83.40. So I have AMD. I sold all my Nvidia and I bought AMD instead, and then I bought Intel after Trump administration put money in it, and then I added MU. So I have, like, instead of Nvidia in my retirement account, I'm going with AMD, Intel, and MU as the AI infrastructure place.
I love Intel for the year. Good pick.
Yeah, I haven't sold it since that day that Trump got involved. I'm like, dude, remember what happened with MP after Trump got involved with MP?
Oh yeah.
Right? It wasn't just a one-day move. It just kept going and going. And so that was my blueprint. I'm like, that's it. I'm buying and holding Intel. So
Yeah. Look at it. I really think we're going to test the highs here shortly.
the highs on what?
I mean, just not highs. Going back to the 2024 highs, that's 50, 60.
Oh, you're
I
talking
think
about Intel?
Intel?
Yeah, for Intel, without a
Oh.
doubt.
It goes up every single day, Intel.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Look at it. It's a monster.
Wow. I don't know. Should I sell some here? I'm up like a lot now.
Look at it on the weekly chart.
Probably got in at like 27 or something. Yeah, I see it on the weekly.
Yeah, that was the day when it went to. Well, that was the day that the announcement was
That's close
September
to double now on this
19th.
thing.
Archer ACHR is running. It's at high a day now. Nice chart, up a little over 3%.
Let's see. I don't know. I look at the daily chart on here,
It's a
and
little choppy.
to me, it's just chop. It's just meaningless chop, unless there was a sector catalyst or a company-specific catalyst. I don't think there's anything you can glean from this.
No, I mean, it got destroyed yesterday. It went from 9 all the way down to 8.
I mean, it's a great chart. I mean, good for you if you saw something.
No, I didn't play this name. No.
Intraday, but
AMPX get a nice little bounce here.
oh my gosh, AMPX is currently my largest position in my trade account. I guess I forgot to talk about that. Should we talk about this?
Yeah, and then actually, someone just reached out to interview the CEO today.
I remember that. Or yeah.
We're supposed to interview the CEO?
No. Someone just reached out. He wants to interview the CEO, and he wants us to attend if he's interested.
Oh.
To interview with him.
Oh, like on X Spaces or something?
X Spaces, yeah. That'll be cool.
So, yeah, let's definitely be there for that. AMPX on our radar because of the Godfather. He likes the fundamentals. This is I love this because it's both a battery sector stock and it's a drone stock. So lightweight batteries. Apparently, I have a lot of customers. They have revenue. It's growing. It's not speculative. Fundamentally, it's worth like at least $17. Depends how, which analysis you're looking at. I would say $15 to $20. They just finished an ATM, usually a very positive catalyst. It did pop when that news came out. Had a couple of rough days here since that news came out on Monday morning that the ATM is finished. If you compare this to the what's that?
Just coming off the Las Vegas CES show.
That's right. Yeah, they won. Didn't they win some sort of award there? I think, too. But yeah, if you look at compare this to the other drone or battery stocks, it's really lagging, and maybe that was lagging because of the ATM, which is now finished. So at this point, with the RSI down here and not overbought, and the 50 above it, I'm positioned for a break of the 50 and a move towards $12.50. That's my swing target on this, and I have a big position in my trade account looking for a break of the 50 and a target of 12.50. It may take, market may have to cooperate, meaning we may have to go through a little correction here in the indices and then get our next leg up for AMPX.
Here's our leg up right now. Speaking of the indices, the Qs are able to break above this level, the 617.75. showing somewhat a little
Oh,
bit
look
of
at
strength.
CLSK, man. Oh my
So
god.
it should be pulling some stuff up with it.
Yeah, like MU, like I failed on
Like
MU.
Bull as well. Bull's following it. I'm finally green on the day for Bull.
Yeah, we got to watch Bull real closely today to see if we can break that level.
IWM is ripping. It's gonna go to high day. I bet.
There you go.
Yeah, someone was trading this inside the chat.
AMPX won the 2026 Best of Innovation Award. So they've come up with a battery that gives more than twice the amount of stored energy for the same weight as competitors' batteries. So great for flight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ben, you have a question in the chat. You want to read that? I'm not sure.
Chat. Where is it? Messages from audience will be displayed here. No.
No, it's on the screen. Just look at the screen.
Oh, Ben, see if you can answer this. What's the number two SP name? What is SP name?
Short play?
Short
Short-term play?
I don't know.
Index is number 2 S. I don't know what SP means. SanDisk is a memory company.
Position?
I don't know what SP means. I don't know.
Maybe we'll put clarify in the chat. We'll see.
About MU's.
I got it. What's the number 2 space stock you have on your chart?
Why is SanDisk number 1?
In your spreadsheet.
In the spreadsheet. Why do you say SNDK is number 1?
Oh.
No, the S&P.
Oh,
SPY.
Oh.
SPY.
Oh. SPY, S&P 500.
Wait, it says hint SNDK is number 1. Isn't SNDK SanDisk?
SanDisk.
Yeah,
memory.
SanDisk.
Why would SanDisk be number 1 for space?
No, it's not for space, man. For SPY.
What? I don't get it. My number 1 pick in the space sector is ASTS. Okay,
it's for the S&P 500 stocks. That's what he's asking.
Oh, so it must be MU. He's saying which S&P 500 stock is up the most this year. He's saying SanDisk is up the most this year. There's probably Micron that's up the second most. Yeah, Micron's my top. That's my largest position.
Here we go. Bull high day, guys.
Okay, you know how many false alarms there have been, and you know how much money I've lost on.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Like every time Webull does this. Okay, let's see. The 20-day MA is 834. So this is what I've done for 3 times. I've done this in the past week. Let's say it goes above 834. I'll like pile into like a big position. I'm like, that's it. We're breaking. We're closing over the 20-day. My target's 880. But you got to wait for the close, unfortunately. But sometimes it can break it and just run to the next DMA in the same day. So I'm like, I don't want to miss that move either. You know, if that happens. But I got to take a scalp win on SOC here. Hold on. I love the swing chart on SOC, but I'm scalping this pretty nicely today, so I'm going to take the win. All right. Wow, CLSK. Okay. 1370. Wow. In our pre-market show, I gave a 1370 target on CLSK. Another day where my target hits and I didn't stick through the volatility. 1370. We documented that, didn't we?
Yeah, it's one of the top trade ideas where I gave.
Yeah, we gave it like 3 or 4 top picks today with targets. 1370 CLSK was one of them, and it's hitting right here. Wow. Oh my gosh. This happens every day.
So Jay Rice, I have the answer to your riddle. Now I read it. Now I understand.
Yeah.
You're saying, can you see if you can answer this? What's the number 2 stock year to date? Hint SDNK is number 1. I would say WDC, Western Digital.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what you're going after.
Okay.
Let me know if that's right.
It's up more than Mew. Yes. By the way, Air had
they're asking for your next level for Clean Spark. We only gave 1370
I only gave 1370. Let me look at the daily. What a beautiful level. That 1370 was money, man. That was so easy. That was such an easy level to call out, 1370. If it breaks and holds 1370, man, I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it, but I think if you're in this from this morning with us, you take your profits here. But from a swing, I wouldn't say for today, but from a swing perspective, maybe it can go to 1450, 1460, 1470. Somewhere in there, somewhere in the 1450 to 15 range, but the 1370 is just too clear. I think it is a great spot to take your profits. Rhett, you can take this one from Akina.
Any discounts for trading? I mean, we do have a 3-day free trial if you guys would like to.
We're
give that
still
a
doing
try.
that? We're doing a 3-day free trial. Wow.
So you can just head on over to storytrading.com/discord and do the 3-day free trial for the 1-month plan, I believe. It'll be on there. You'll see it. So that'll be up till the end of this week if you guys would like to give that a try.
Air has been so volatile since their earnings report.
Wow, look at Roller here. Roller with another pop-up high a day now.
High a day, suspended, halted 18 seconds. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Now, I bought this at
It really
9 and
just got
sold
halted.
it. I took it from 9 to 13, but only 100 shares.
2067 probably will test again the highs. I mean, we'll see.
Gambling.
Guys, we have
Yeah.
It's like Vegas in the desert days.
look at the cues. That was an easy call. A break
Digital
above that.
gambling, you know?
Are you long? Are you in calls? Did you get that?
No, sadly, I wish.
No, I made money on the puts. I don't feel like writing. That's good enough for me. Don't need to write it up. Where's Galaxy at though? Galaxy was still in. Man, Bull has been such a freaking tease. Let me see if there's any clues on the option screen. Whoa. Dude, check this out. Guys, you see this? We got a bunch of gamblers this week on Bull.
No, that's me, bro. That's me. Sorry.
Dude, you're 6,500 contracts. Wait a second. 6,500 contracts at about a 9-cent average. How much money is that? Let me get my calculator. Someone can do it in their head. You can beat me. 6,500 times 90 times 9. What?
Ben, you see?
What?
Look when I'm holding up on the screen.
Wait a second. I'm so bad with it. That's $58,000. What are you holding up?
I was bidding on them.
Oh, you were? You were bidding on these?
That's partly me. Sorry. Yeah.
Dude, that's $60,000 someone put in.
No. I only have 5K in that. That is not.
Oh, it's gone. Someone just bought it. Whoa, they're going too. Holy crap. You know what? I have some of these, I think. Wait a second.
Oh, I'm up 37% on these now.
From last week, I have some $9 calls. Damn it. They're like really worthless. I have $9 calls on Bull that I bought last week for 13.
Are you looking at the 10s or the 850s?
The 850s.
Yeah, there's crazy volume coming into the 850s.
Okay.
Wait. Why didn't you tell us when you were buying those?
Because I thought they were like lottos. I'm up $4,000 on them at the moment.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait. You bought them at what? 9 cents? What do you buy them at?
I bought them at 8 and 9.
And now they're 11 by 12. Wow. Oh, good for you. Personally, I'd take the profit if you're up $4,000. That's great.
Yeah, Bull though. It's my baby.
I know it's my baby too, but okay. CLSK broke. It actually broke 1370 CLSK. This thing's probably headed to. It's probably headed to 14.
All right, guys. It is. Oh wait, we're over. It's 11:31.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get pulled. I'm waiting for.
All right, so let's wrap it up. You guys have any final words, Ben or Laptop Travel? Because it's Ryan's not come back. We ended off and.
Yeah, so I have one stock that is throw out there for everybody. It's Resolve. It's RZLV, Romeo Zulu, Lima Victor. This is an AI platform, and they've partnered with Google and Microsoft. So check it out. It's up today, I think 4.5%.
Yep.
So check it out.
Cool. Thanks.
Awesome.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Take care, guys.
All right.
And we'll see you guys on X or inside the community. So take